5 minutes, so please, we will start the session after that. Thank you. Isha Verma, and I welcome to day 2 of the edition of the GCC Summit 2025. Yesterday, we explored share services versus GCC's strategies outlook, empowering GCC's mindset, skill set, and tool set, and AI tools. Today, we will deeper into innovative strategies and best practices. Now, I would like to request CA Dr. Rohit Ruvatia Agarwal, sir, CCM of ICI. Please come on the dais, please. And CA Hitesh Goyal, sir. He is the Vice Chairman of NIRC of ICI. Please come on the dais. And I request with Mr. Rakesh Sinha ji, please also come on the dais. I request with CA Rohit Ruvatia, sir, CCM, and CA Hitesh Goyal ji, NIRC Vice Chairman, to present the life plan to Mr. Rakesh Sinha ji. Now, I would like to request CA Dr. Rohit Ruvatia Agarwal, sir, please give the opening remarks of this session and start. Thank you, sir. आपको ही बोला है.
So very respected and speaker of today's breakout session, Rakesh ji, and the Vice Chairman of NIRC, Hitesh Goyal ji, and the August gathering present over here. Of course, the session relates to create a brand, how GCC build their identity. So I feel that, of course, this is a very important topic and not only related to GCC, but of course, creating a brand in itself is a process. And it should be a part of our life, and it should be designed in such a way that not only in the global environment, but in the domestic environment, because I always say that it is a combination that GCC with DCC, like global capacity center with domestic capacity centers. So we are the domestic leaders, and we aim the people sitting over here, they are here to understand how global capacity center is going to work and how we all can become part of that ecosystem so that it is acceptable. So I believe that since you are taking the session and you'll speak practical and on ground, that how we people can collaborate, and more importantly, I would rather urge that if you can incorporate the basic ideology and theme and thought process, which is practically doable for all of us. So if you can address, and I'm confident that you'll take up all these things. So without wasting much of the time, I will give you the charge to take the things ahead, sir. Please, sir.
You want to speak something? No? Sure. Okay. Hello? Can you hear me? You all can hear me at the back? I'm loud and clear? Very good morning. I know it was a forced session because a lot of you were sitting inside, and there was some tea, coffee, and idlis waiting outside, and many of you were asked to come inside a session like this. So thank you for your time and patience to be part of this session. And once again, very good morning. First of all, I am humbled, privileged, and honored to be here this morning in front of each one of you. And thanks to ICI, NIRC, and leaders like them to give me the opportunity to share my experiential perspectives and how to look at GCCs and the brand and the identity of the GCCs in the context of each one of us here. So I'll try to more put in a context rather just generalizing some of the things. And the context I have taken is primarily the leaders. Many of us were part of the GCC space for years, doing a lot of work in this space. But I know a lot of you are sitting here who are not in the GCC space, maybe the practicing chartered accountants, advisory firms who are trying to scale up and become a GCC in the long run. So we're just trying to see in that context what could be the art of possible for each one of us here. Couple of things, I think, can I have that slides? No, not this one, the other one. And if you can give me the slider, navigator, de dijiye. Slides. Okay, do you have that? Yeah, please. Thank you. No, okay. So how many of you are from a GCC space? By show of hands. Okay. How many of you really understand for the last 2 days, everybody's talking about these GCCs, and we say Global Capability Center. How much you have the understanding and appreciation of what is Global Capability Center? How many of you can say, I know it? Okay, few hands. In fact, Rohitji was kind enough to even coin a new term called DCC. In fact, there's a term already existing, which we are using quite often, is called LCC. It's called Local Capability Centers. So it is not that they are not local. There are a lot of local capability centers which exist and can become a global capability centers in India or otherwise other locations. Now there are two interesting words which I wanted to bring and to highlight to you, and I will cover a few of these components in the next 40-45 minutes, and I would like to spend more time talking with each one of you. You can ask some questions, etc. My intent is to cover these two words, identity and brand. I want to spend some time about perception. I would certainly like to spend a little bit of a time about how you build the GCC's identity. And the last one, what are the opportunities for CAs and advisories firm in this space? I know you all will be in different maturity curves, so something will be relevant for you, something may not be relevant for you. Please pardon me for that, because I could not really try to cover everybody, but I tried to cover as much as possible to really get all the CAs and advisory firms as a part of it. I just have a quick question for all of you, because there was a show of hands to say few of us understands GCCs, right? Very simple way you can respond to this poll question. You can log into, all of you have a mobile phone. If you can log into menti.com, menti.com, menti.com in your phone. And the moment you log into menti.com, it will ask you a code. There's a code written here, 799444103. You are able to get to the menti.com? Right? And you got this code, you just dial this code there, 799444103. Sorted? Everybody got the code? Okay. Now we'll see what is the result. The question was, in your opinion, why do organizations set up GCCs, the Global Capability Centers? Why they do that? And there are some options written here. And I can tell you there will be many more options we all can think of, but I just try to put few options here. They want to consolidate and offshore some of the transactional work. There's a cost optimization. There's an efficiency and enhanced customer experience. Access to talent pipeline and specialized skills. Innovation continuum and strategic decision making. Yeah, if you could just take that out, yeah. Market expansion and competitive edge. I picked 6 options, and I wanted to hear your thoughts in terms of how do you see the reason for, or what is the reason for setting up a GCCs? Sorry, yes.
I think it has to be all of.
Yeah, we'll just wait for it, yeah. Just wait for it. I'll just give another 30 seconds for people who have not yet completed it. Everybody has got the Menti code. It's a menti.com. You go to the menti.com, there is a code there, 799444103, and you will get this chart updated, real time. while a gentleman there made a point, but I can see there's a lot of views expressed here by each one of you, and very diverse views, right? I mean, cost optimization seems to be leading the chart yet, right? We got the next one is access to talent pipeline in specialized skills, followed by innovation continuum and strategic decision making. This three seems to be the, yeah, somebody is still adding more to, okay, innovation is going up, but cost optimization is also going further up, right? Seems to be done, right? Everybody has done that pretty much. I think we have got the idea of it. I think this room, pretty much about 50, 60 odd people, all of you sitting here, you have expressed your views. How do you see a global capability center and the trigger for a global capability center? And you can see the thought that cost optimization still remains to be the priority or the trigger or the purpose for setting up the GCCs. Now, while I think that gentleman made a good point that all of these could be the reason, but the question was about what is that first thing which comes in your mind? So there are many things, but cost optimization. And this is exactly the point where the whole narrative starts about your identity and brand. What you want to communicate about GCCs, what you want to communicate about yourself, and what you want to communicate is as your vision, mission, your focus areas, and how you will be perceived by the world and by your customers will all start from here. And I'll give you a quick example of that, whatever it may be. But you've got a sense of it, right? Just keep it with you. I'll come back and connect this with identity and brand in a minute. Right? Can we just take this chart off the screen? Right. Yeah, just keep it up here. Perfect, thank you. See, there has been this industry, the GCC industry is in existence for almost 3 decades or 3 decades plus. In fact, one of the pioneering GCCs, I know the few of the leaders representing that GCCs are also in the room. They started way back in mid-90s, and it all started by American Express, followed by GE and then many other, setting up their GCC in India. While GCCs like Amex and GE followed a slightly different path in terms of their positioning, but majority of them started by labor arbitrage, which you said cost optimization, labor arbitrage. Let's do the work from a cheaper location. Let's do more of a mundane work, repeatable work, transactional work. Let's do all that from India, and that is the way they all started. Over a period, this entire thing got evolved from what it was called as a resource center, back office, shared services, to global in-house centers, to global business services operations, and then now what we are calling as a global capability center. The question for all of us here, and going back to the chart, is if the starting point even for a shared services resource center was the labor arbitrage and the cost, then what is the difference which we are trying to talk today if you are saying GCCs? Now you can understand the connect to the previous poll and this chart. In 30 years, how are we trying to evolve and what is the positioning we need to change to make it really a capability center? And we'll talk in a minute about that. And I say it very interestingly, many of us landed in this industry by accident. It was not like, I know for a lot of people now, they have a choice to get into this industry, but a lot of us just became part of this industry because this industry was growing, et cetera, et cetera. But what we changed and what many of us changed was we reinvented, built that identity and the brand by looking at what could be done differently. So repositioning ourselves and not remaining the part of the same bandwagon the way it all started. Today, we all know, and I think last 2 days, I don't want to get into it. You have been hearing so many metrics about it, like, there are some 1,900 GCCs, $50 billion of exports, going to grow phenomenally, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not getting into it. But that is the kind of growth which you're talking about. And interestingly, if you see, I know it's a little bottom, everything started with a cost 30 years ago. But over a period, it moved from cost to talent. And many of you were actually selecting the option called talent. And then it moved to what we call value, by saying, how can you deliver a value impact? And over the last few years, it has moved beyond value to what we call innovation. And that is the shift in your positioning which needs to happen if you want to become part of the GCC journey. While cost is given, and I'll give you a very interesting example of a cost, quick 30 seconds, so not to just undermine the value of the cost because each one of you selected cost optimization. There are two parts of the cost. One is a cost due to labor arbitrage, because you're moving the work from somewhere to, let's say, India, you get an arbitrage. And is that the only reason why you want to do it? Is that the only reason why you want to move even from an India company and work to another location and say, I will do it faster and cheaper and so on and so forth? It's only that one time? Maybe not. Innovation will result into a continuous cost optimization. And that's the positioning which has to change if you want to build your credibility from a GCC point of view. And not just, that's a narrative which you have to change versus just saying it's a cost optimization. It's a continuous cost optimization by doing innovation. That becomes the focus area. They're also doing some innovation here, trying to. All right. Want me to help you? I can help you. Just do it. We have to make it faster and quicker, that's all. Yeah. Thank you. Now, there is a journey which has happened over 30 years. I talked about it. I don't want to get into it. I mentioned Amex and GE were the pioneers to start with. They actually took a very different path, unlike many others. I can still tell you there are many GCCs coming to India, the global centers. They are still coming to India for the labor arbitrage. And because that's what we are selling. That's what was the sell story by all of us for the first 15 years, by saying, please come to India, we are a low-cost center, give your transactional work, we'll become your back office. This is what you sold, so this is what you'll become. You kept on selling that I'm a back office, give me your transactional work, which is non-value add. I know I have seen many sales pitch saying, okay, give me your non-value add work. If it was that non-value add, then by design you become non-value add because that's what you're doing. You were doing all transactional work for so many years. And only doing a cheaper work. You're supposed to do cheaper. That was the positioning. We sold it for years. But what companies like Amex did was very different. They went to a complex world first. Like India Center, they went to Japan. And they moved the work from Japan. And I'm talking about 30 years ago, where, today still you have great tools, AIs, converters, etc. 30 years ago, we used to have big dish antennas, and internet was like, on the God's will. And some real stuff I've heard where people can press an entry in the system and can go and bring the coffee by the time still it is posting. Right. And that's the kind of a world that took a complex process first. Levers, for example, took another complex stand. Levers went out and said, okay, we'll set up a GCC in India. And they brought, the first work they brought was taxation. Our usual suspect in the GCC world in a finance space would be what? Accounts payable, reconciliation, data entry, invoice posting, correct? Think about Levers' first process they did was taxation. Because their story was the most regulated, most rule-driven work is taxation. In accounts payable, sometimes the company don't even have a policy document. They don't even have a delegation of authority. But in a taxation, you can't have anything like which you have a very measured rule and everything. That's better and best to move a work. So they went a different positioning, and that's why when you see their GCCs, they are highly matured. Highly matured. Because the first step of their positioning was not that I will do cheaper and give me a non-value add work. That's the first thing they change as a positioning. And my humble request is if you really want to make, and this is what I think the ICI is also trying to do, they're saying, move from ledgers to strategy, we want to rule the world. That is a positioning shift which you're trying to make. You've done it for years accounting. Yes, sir.
See, both examples that you've given, initial GCCs, it was the wanted to bring that process to India, the complex process, rather than just mundane work. So how do we basically convince somebody who is not willing to bring that work to India?
No, absolutely, fair point. But it's about the story, right? Absolutely. See, and I'll answer your question very quickly. While your question is, if I have to put it into perspective, there was some decision maker which said, okay, we'll do complex work and we'll do from India. How can we go and talk to a decision maker and explain to them, oh, we can do a complex work for you? And I'll talk about that. The good thing happened, sir, here is that still you are not taking a first move. 30 years, this industry has moved to a stage where the engineering designs are being made here and there are examples available. I'm just giving you example. When we, as an organization, we were doing first time a shared services organization 20 years ago for a customer like Ranbaxy, we had to really do a understanding of what AstraZeneca is doing, what Novartis is doing, what Pfizer is doing. They may not be my customer. So what was available at that point of time was a reference stories available, and that is what we need to do. There are a lot of reference stories available. We need to do our own R&Ds to know those reference stories and then go back to our customers and explain to them, hey, look, this is what a company A has done. This is what company B has done. So why can't I do it for you? It's my narrative. But finally, you end up doing some transaction also, and I'll also talk about transactions are important, by the way. But how you position, it's about story. See, right now, it's not about should you do that or not. I wanted to clarify that. We are not talking about should I do an accounts payable or transactional work at all. Absolutely, you should do that. Whole point is about how you want to position yourself, your narrative. That's the point. Yes, ma'am.
In aviation industry, lot of accounting is done by Excelia. So Excelia provides a lot of information like how much was the revenue, what was the basis of difference in one day to other day. But how we can differentiate this with the GCC? Because the final decision lies with the airline only. So how strategically, we can help to the client that this is where, you can take a first step rather than the competitor.
No, absolutely. I think I'll come to that question. Allow me a minute to come back to that question. I think your question is more about that there is a lot of work which is done by an operator, but beyond a maturity of the work is done still by the parent company or the customer company, which is Airline Air. And how can we communicate to the airline that can we give this work to a partner who can do this nature of work and so on and so forth. That's a question which you have, right?
Secondly, I believe that the person who is actually into the organization, they know the whole nitty-gritty of that organization. The GCC center doesn't know that nitty-gritty.
Absolutely.
So how they will be able to take decision on
So you responded. I'll just talk about it. I'll just give 30 seconds. This is exactly the point. This is exactly the point. The point is all about perceptions. Perceptions is the reality. So, sorry. Yeah. So this is the reality. What happens, I have an intentions, and I wanted to give you a sense of it, and this is where I will quickly talk about, oops, this is all moving all by itself for some reason. It is very critical to establish your brand to understand first the perceptions. I think this is moving somehow. Can I stop it? उसको रोक सकते हैं आप उसको? बस छोड़ दीजिए लोग करके ठीक. So the interesting thing is that you can see there are three circles here. The intentions. Intentions are I want to do it. What is my behavior which connects to the intentions? And then finally, what is the perception? Now the two words which I initially talked about is identity and brand. How many of you understand the difference between identity and brand? I'm assuming all of you, but still a show of hand will be helpful. The difference between identity and a brand, right? Oh, there are few hands. So for the benefit of others, just to share, identity is something which is about me as a company. What is my vision, mission, what I want to do, what is that offering I would like to have, how do I present myself, what is my value system, is all my identity. While brand is how my identity is perceived by my prospect or a customer or external world or a regulator or whatever it may be. So my intent to perception, which is my brand, this is all about behaviors. So my intent and behaviors, which I am actually building as a part of my identity, connects to what? To the perceptions, the way your brand will be viewed. The perception that you can't do because you are supposed to be a service provider, because you can't do because you are supposed to be a transactional service provider, is a perception which we have created many times based on the narrative, the intentions, and the behavior which we are demonstrating. And this is very true for many organizations I can share with you. They have started by saying, and as I was sharing that, they have started by saying, I'll do a non-valued work. So what you have done? You have set the precedence that this center is supposed to be doing a transactional work and non-valued work. I give you a very interesting example. We were doing shared services or GCCs almost like 20 years ago, and somebody asked a question by saying, now you're trying to move me into this GBS, GCC organization. Is it a reward posting or a punishment posting? Think about many of you CEOs, and they were the CS guys, I mean. They asked a question by saying, is it a reward posting or a punishment posting?
Is the difference of perception which you mentioned.
That's the whole point, right? I can give you example as recent as about maybe 10 years ago. And the gentleman who is supposed to be, and this is a real story of an automobile company, we set up their GBS, GCCs. They have multiple business unit. So one of the business finance guy of that company who's supposed to be like, tipped to be the number 2 and will become the CFO of the company. That's the way he thought his journey will be. He was a CFO for one of the large business unit. And when we were doing the entire blueprinting for the GCC, and I took a liberty to talk to the CEO of the company, and he asked me who could be the internal leader to take over that role, the GCC head role. And I recommended that guy who was a business CFO for that business unit. Can you believe what he told me? He said, I thought you were my friend. He said, I thought you were my friend. How can you recommend? You have really stopped my career. I can't grow. My career has come to the end just because of your recommendation. And same guy, after 3 years, he became the blue-eyed boy of the entire board, and he grew faster than many of his peers. He actually took a leap to become the global internal audit head, reporting directly to the board, and so on and so forth. He realized the power of it. But initially, what was his view? It is going to be an end of his career. So it's all about narrative. So what is important here is perception. Now, I'll give you a perception of GCCs. There are 2 pages here. That's a perception. Now, many of you can figure it out. What's your perception about the GCC industry? Luxury travels, you have US offices, Europe offices, interaction with senior management, great lifestyle, some wine and dine, visiting new places, or meetings and meetings. Sometimes I do like this on the left-hand side. Multiple expectations, work stress, grind plus grind plus grind, whatever it may be. Now, either of this is your perception. You may take that the previous one is all about GCC, or you may consider the next one as your perceived connect to the world of the GCC. This is all perception, right? For the last 2 days, we have been talking that this is the world. This is the world. Last 2 days, everyone standing in the podium, in that hall or this hall, is saying this is the world. But neither is true. It's a combination of both. It's a combination of both. And that's all about, sorry? I mean, it's a combination of both. And it's a perception. I'll leave it to your choice. How do you feel it? I think again, just giving, I think a lot of you talked about transaction. I think I just wanted to clarify that transaction is important. It's about the narrative. Transaction is still important, and why we call it transaction is important because transactions only lead to the transformation. Otherwise, keep on saying I'll do value-added services will sound like a hollow statement if you don't even understand the world of transaction. So you need to understand the operational work. You need to understand how accounting is connected to that operational stuff, how reporting is connected to that accounting, and how the analytics is connected to that. If you don't understand that pyramid, process pyramid, and saying, I only want to do analytics without understanding operational stuff is not going to happen. You need to understand that. And you all are very good in knowing this, so I don't need to spend time here. But that is the perception. Sometimes our customer believes that you can only do operational stuff. While we can do analytical work, but we need to establish that credibility. To your point, we need to establish that credibility. We need to reposition ourselves. We need to have a different narrative to establish that, yes, we can do it. So when you go and talk to a customer tomorrow and say, I can do only your non-value add work, I can do all your transactional work, I'm a low-cost company, then you are asking for only this. But if you go back and tell them that I can do all this, I can do this as well, I have that capability of doing it, but I may start from here for you. What you're doing is you're changing the narrative. Are you with me on this? This is another one, just to give you another side of the story, the value chain. This is where a lot of time you've heard about the value-added services. A lot of time people say value-add services, we do value-add services. But I can tell you without understanding what value-add services means. Majorities don't know what value-add services means. And I'm generalizing it, but I'm still making a very sincere statement. Majority don't know. Transaction processing, by design, your mindset is about timeliness, what is the accuracy, how was the first pass done, etc., etc. Then you look at things like functional excellence. And all these are important as a part of it. Even risk management, I'm trying to say, is a part of functional excellence. Control and compliance is still not value-added services, by the way. They're still functional excellence. Functional excellence to value-add service is a leap. And there's a huge opportunity for many of us sitting in this room to take a leap from transaction to functional excellence and to functional excellence to value-added services, where we can talk about how will I do a revenue assurance for you. There's a leakage, I'll figure it out how to handle it. I'll work with you to drive your DSO. Those kind of conversations are very, very important to say, how will I manage your bottom line impact? Not by just removing one FT. You think about it, I'll just give you a metric. You guys are very good in terms of understanding numbers. Let's say company revenue is 100. The cost of finance function, very bloated finance function, assume it is very high cost, will be still what, 2%? Usually it is supposed to be 0.5%, but let's say still 2%. I'm giving the benefit of doubt to that company for some reason. In that 2%, let's assume you have 50 people, and you say out of 50 people, 25 people needs to be in that internal company. In the balance stream, 25 people who are the low-cost people, I will reduce it from 25 to 20, 5 FTs. Now you think the value which you are impacting to that company. Your value delivered to that company is absolutely minuscule. Is it required? Yes, it is required. It is hygiene. It's like brushing your teeth in the morning. No one comes to the office and says, oh, today morning I brushed my teeth. Any one of you do that? No, I took a shower today morning. We don't do that, right? I mean, I'm assuming that none of us. My daughter does still. Sometimes in the morning she'll tell me, my daughter does it. Oh, I've taken a shower. I've taken a brush. I'm assuming all of us will not do that, right? So some of this has become hygiene, so much of hygiene, right? But if you go and tell this customer, the CFO, by saying, hey, look, you have your purchase cost, which could be 20% or 25% of direct purchase or indirect purchase. I'm just taking example. Or you have a DSO, which is like a big challenge for you. It is 130 days, and your working capital is getting screwed completely or skewed completely, whatever it may be. I'll work with you to see how can I bring your interest rate down, and I'll bring you the cost of funds down, and I'll work with you to see how can I bring your receivables faster by 20 days. Or I understand you maybe have revenue leakage, due to whatever it is of this percent, and I'll work with you to see how can I bring it down. But of course, for that, what you need is the transactional information. That's why transaction to transformation. But your narrative is different. Your communication is different. I still have time, right? Now, this is something I wanted to give you quickly on the connecting with identity and the brand, because I think I had some questions before even the session started. This is the traditional way the companies were looking at building their identity. There are multiple models, but I picked up this model because we personally believe into this model for a long time. This is a model given by a person by name, management guru by name, Kenichi Omayo, a Japanese guy. And he said there are 3 C's, which is company or corporation, he uses the word corporations, customer, and competition. So when you are developing your identity, you look at these 3 things by saying, your company means what kind of resources you like to have, what kind of capabilities you have, what is the objective, vision, mission you need to have, what's your service offering, what's your strength, weaknesses, offer, etc. That is your, which is you. That's a company. The second part is customer. Whom are you going to sell? Who is the final recipient of the services? Who is the target audience? What are their preferences? Right? What are their expectations? How they perceive the value. The perception again comes here from the customer, how you perceive the value. And the last but not least is the competition. Do you understand your competition? Do you know your competitive landscape? Do you know what your rivals or your competitors, what are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? They may be whatever it is, that doesn't matter. I give you an example of a very interesting conversation I had recently in US. It's a $50 million, $50 million MN dollar CDMO, which is a contract generics manufacturing company. But they're competing with a $46 billion company in the same segment. A $50 million company in US is competing with a $46 billion company because both of them have the similar product. Now the first choice is by saying, why do I even need to know about my competition? They're too big, they have everything. The second choice was for them to say, oh, let me understand what they're doing, what are their strengths, how they're positioning themselves, and can I do my narrative and story differently? And that's what they did. So understanding these 3 C's is typically what we call as a strategic triangle. But what we did in the GCC world based on our experience, as I mentioned to you, unlike many of you, I have never done accounting, but what I have done is I have managed accounting transitions, I have managed transformations, been 20 years in the GCC space, and I take a lot of pride in saying that we as an organization have created 150,000 jobs in India by our strategies, which we worked with our customers and companies. We worked with our customers to create those strategies, which brought 150,000 job opportunities to India. With that experience, what we did was we changed the 3 C's to what we call 4 C's. And that is where is a huge opportunity for each one of us. And the 4th C is what we call collaboration. So I talked about company, customer, competition, and collaboration. That is what we added as a part of this entire positioning. Right. Just to give you a quick view of it, and there could be more bullets which can be added, but just want to give you a quick view of it, what company means. Let's say company is a GCC enabler, GCC provider, GCC company, whatever it may be. First, they need to understand what is the genesis, what is the purpose. Do they want to become a back office company, or they want to really become a capability center? And moment you say capability, what kind of capabilities? Are you talking about a capability in terms of expertise around AI? A lot of AI discussions have happened, some use picking up AI, and again I can go in AI and talk for hours, but that's not the idea. First, you have to define what you want to be. What is the purpose of the GCC? People say, what's in name? But name matters. I give you example, and I'm just going back again, and Ravi is here, he'll remember it. He was actually the guy who created it. 20 years ago, Grace, Ravi recall Grace for Ranbaxy. Because moment we said, okay, we are going to do a shared services for their perception, they were saying, come on, what shared services for a pharmaceutical company, right? Finance and accounting, what is that? So to communicate, I'm talking still 20 years ago, we created that whole division was called Grace. Grace was Global Ranbaxy Accounting Center of Excellence. So they started looking at Grace with a lot of grace. And you not believe it, we started with 30 odd FTs in that center, with typical processing we all can talk about. And finally, when Sun Pharma took over that company, it had annual report getting published, printed from that shared services of the GCC. Many times we can't even imagine that, right? That's the level of maturity it traveled. So it's about mindset. We need to have a how part of it. You'll be hollow if you don't have a how. You need to have a roadmap to make how you're going to make a difference. For example, I've given a lot of terms. Don't worry about it, even if you remember one or two is fine and can reach out to me for a lot of words. You can create your own words. Like we talk about something like, center of excellence we say is still like, is given. We're talking about something now which is required to make a GCC really happen is COX and COING. COX is center of expertise. If you're just center of excellence, you are doing still an operational excellence. But you need to create a center of expertise and go beyond center of expertise to create center of innovation and growth for your parent company, for your customer organization. That is why COING becomes very, very critical. That's where you really demonstrate I'm a capability. Of course, there'll be a roadmap. You can't have everything overnight, but that's a roadmap which you need to establish as a part of your why and putting it a what. From a customer point of view, I'm taking customer as a headquarter, your parent company, your customer organization, a client organization. There's a huge perception gaps. What we believe, what they believe. Like a lot of conversation happened here. I think what we believe, what they believe is very different. What we believe that, oh, we are the best of the world. They believe that you are only asked to do instruction seekers. Let me tell you what to do and you will do it. Just pass this entry, don't ask me questions. Right? That's the perception gaps. Now you think with that perception gap, you are going to become the GCC? No. But with that perception gaps, how are you going to fill the perception gaps? Do you understand that? And then build on it is going to be very, very important. And that's where I think a lot of time we miss it. There's a term which we talk very much as a part of our DNA is, we say VP to BD. Because what has happened now is there's a VD is value delivery. Everybody across the industry you go and talk about, they will say value delivery, value delivery, value delivery. Yeah, value delivery kar rahe. But how are you doing value delivery? How are you doing value delivery? Do you understand value delivery? First thing to do a value delivery is you need to establish value potential. Like in our job, what first thing happens in the beginning of the year is what? KRAs? We put up goals. If you don't put a goal from a value delivery point of view, how can you deliver value if you have not put a potential to it? So if you say your DSO is 100 days, I'll bring it down to 80 days, that is value potential and you bring to the value delivery. That's the way you can do it. VP to VD as a part of it. You need to have a clear narrative, engage with your stakeholder, make sure they understand what you're talking about as a value delivery. I think there's something which is not coming clearly is relationship. You need to spend time to build that relationship. Competition, being aware is first thing first. Who all are operating in the same space? What are they trying to do? How they are different? Second, talent war. We are under really a talent war. While there's a lot of other real war also is happening, but I think we are really in the midst of talent war. How will you attract and retain talent? Otherwise, you're going to lose them to your competition. Cost to value proposition. If your cost and value, because sometimes we believe, and I've seen with 11 large GCCs is, they don't even know their fully loaded cost. Simple thing, FLC as we call it. They know their people cost. They don't know the fully loaded cost. So when they're comparing with the market, they have no clue. That's why they need to have a clue about their own cost, that is fully loaded cost, to connect to the value which they are delivering. Otherwise, it becomes another challenge from perception point of view. And learn best and next practices as a part of competition. Last but not least, and this is where we have added something called collaboration, and this is where I will say is a very important C for you all and all of us here, depending upon your maturity and journey. Always look for, instead of reinventing something, see how can I leverage some of the best skills, specialized skills available. This world is all about collaboration. Always look at external expertise as a springboard. Not just the capacity, but capacity plus capability. That external expertise, the springboard, is very critical. And last but not least on the collaboration is CapEx to OpEx. Why to do a lot of capital investment if you can get many of these as a service model? A lot of technology, a lot of partnerships are available as a service. So we can move from a typical CapEx to OpEx as a service model as a part of collaboration. Just a last point here, just to share with you, is that the companies which are already in your typical GCCs, where you are in a maturity, and we have defined it as part of my industry forum, we have defined it by saying there's an L1 to L5 possible. L1 is a process center. L2 makes it your service center, what you are servicing. L3 is value center. For last 2 days and many other forums and many other places, we're all talking about GCC is equal to value office, value center. That is still level 3. That's a point to draw your attention. That is still level 3. If you have an advantage and an opportunity to take a leap of faith and go beyond a value center to become a strategic center or become an enterprise center. There's a full maturity model available on the SSF portal, and you can look at that. But what is more important is how will you leverage collaboration and that capability which you create to deliver through a commitment. If you don't commit, like for example, many of us will be scared to commit, oh, I'll bring your DSO down by 20 days. If you don't do that, you will still remain as a process center or a service center. I'm just finishing with the last page. Do I have a few minutes more, or is it like time up? I don't know, somebody has to say. Another 2-3 minutes? Can I take another 2-3 minutes? Okay, fine. This is the slide basically for you all here, the opportunities for CAs and advisors, how you can leverage this entire world of the GCCs. You know, many of you are aware there are about 80,000 plus, and this is growing as a number already in GCC, GBS space. The tier 2 cities are really becoming very much popular, so you don't even need to be in metros. Of course, a few of us are already here. A lot of these global companies are willing to come and set up in tier 2 cities. For example, we are actually working with governments to drive some of these tier 2 cities. We are going to cities like on 3rd July, me and my team is in Jaipur. We are trying to look at Jaipur as a location. We are working with Coimbatore, Bhubaneswar, Indore, Ahmedabad, and these are the kind of new locations which you're talking about. You need to, of course, look at redesigning the entire thing, but the most critical piece is a mindset shift. If our mindset is going to be the same what we were doing it earlier, we will not make a dent, we will not be able to make an impact. So we need to make a mindset shift overall. And I don't want to get into all, of course, feel free to reach out to me in the interest of the time. I think I'll just pick a couple of them quickly. One is it's an interesting term which I created, is called DAU. How many of you know what is BAU? You know BAU? Show of hands, what is that BAU? Business as usual, right? BAU is business as usual. DAU is a new term which I created, is called disruption as usual. Gone are the days where BAU was BAU. Now you have to make DAU as what? BAU. Disruption as usual. So it is not about disruption outside. You create your own disruptions and make them as a part of your life as usual. That is the only way you can make a difference if you really want to playing big in the GCC space. This is for all the CAs and the advisory firms here. And how will you do that? I'm giving another 2 interesting terms, and please bear with me these 2 terms again. Don't take me literal on this, but this is reality. There's a term called MD and a CM. MD means what? Sorry? MD is what? Managing Director. And CM is chief minister, right? No. In our finance fraternity, for all of us who want to play in GCC, MD is, in the disruption and usual, MD is master of disasters. Challenge whatever is happening, status quo. And CM is what? Chaos monkeys who create chaos. If you don't create chaos and you keep on just saying, you know, this is the way it has to be done, this is the way it has to be done, this is the way it has to be done, then you're not curious. So you need to ask the questions, challenge the status quo, be the master of disasters, be the chaos monkeys. The only difference is don't be the master of disaster, just open, you know how to disrupt it, but you also need to take ownership and accountability to fix it as a part of a DIU. There are other things, the touch points, journey, I just want to skip it in the interest of the time. I think the team is waiting. These are the career opportunities and many more which has happened. People started with doing typically a process role, process specialist role, functional role, finance role, reporting role, VP reporting, etc., etc. And they moved into a very different kind of roles today, playing roles like techno-process lead. I know people who are leading technology, CIOs, who were the typical chartered accountants playing a processing role in a GCC. Transformation leader, they became program leaders, they became business leaders. They are actually the CEOs of the firm just by the virtue of understanding the transaction and connecting with the transformation. So these are various career opportunities available for the aspiring CAs and their journey. With this, thank you. And let's build not just centers, but let's build bold global brands. We all should build brands, global brands. And this is me. Thank you, all of you, for patiently listening to me. I don't know if you have a time, any questions if you want to have, I'm happy to take it. I don't know, we have a minute. Can I take one question or two? Okay, if any questions? Yeah. I think you have asked, I think somebody's there. I'll come back to you if you don't mind, sorry. I think if you don't mind passing the mic to him. My friend there sitting at the back, yes please. Here's the questions. I'll come back to you for sure. There's two questions. Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir, first of all, I want to thank you for a great session.
Thank you.
I'll give a little bit of background about myself, and you'll know where I'm coming from. So 5 years back, I was working with PwC. That time it was called SDC, but it is not now an acceleration center. And that time I related with your PPT that they were also doing the processing work, and now they've shifted totally to client-face work. So that was PwC. And but I'm not associated with PwC as of now. But yeah, I'm doing my local practice, and I have clients in US as well. But as an individual CA, my target audience are the SMEs, right? So how do I position myself as an individual CA if not talking about the cost? Because my only selling point comes to cost at the end of the day for the SMEs. I know when PwC is working with mutual funds, so PwC is working for a lot of years as SDC. And they have established their trust, and they can transform.
I've understood your question. So let me ask a counter question back by saying what SME wants. They want to have a bottom line impact by the cost reduction.
Yep.
And what else they want? Forget about you, what they want to do in their life. They want to what? Grow.
Yeah.
Right?
Grow, yeah.
Can you talk to them and say, I'll work with your growth? I'll make a top line impact for you. I'll make a cash flow impact for you. I'll make an AR impact for you. Right? Okay. Of course, I'll do a cost optimization. That is given. I'm not saying don't talk about cost. Please let me clarify that. I'm saying please talk about cost. But what are they looking for? They are also looking for growth. They're looking for the cash flow impact. They're looking for the AR. Why can't we talk about that? No, it is not easy. If you start just talking without having a capability, then there's a problem. You need to build that capability. The choice is either you build your in-house capability by inventing it, or you partner with people. There are a lot of tech solutions which can help you to do that. So why don't you go to tech ecosystem and ask for them by saying, oh, I can do this for you. I can monitor your DSO better. That's a narrative. Sorry, you were having a question. Back to you. I think she was having a question. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
So,
I think everybody's waiting for me to close.
Yeah. Sorry. Just one quick question. What was the first year like for you, basically, and what was the actionables that you took probably, being in a very nascent industry at that point of time. So those can be actionables for us as well. Also, if you were starting today, how would you start? Like, how would the
Well, a
first
good question. Can I take this separately offline with all of you outside? Huh? So I don't mind spending time. I think everybody's waiting here, so I can have a separate chat outside with few of you on that. Absolutely fine. Yes, ma'am. Want the same question? Okay, fine. So then I think okay, so we'll spend time separately outside. I think everybody's waiting for me to close the session here, so I'd like to close the session. Thank you, each one of you, for your patient listening. Appreciate that. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Rakesh Sinha, sir, for delivered a comprehensive and engaging session. We really appreciate your valuable time and efforts. Now, I would like to see Hitesh Goyalji, the Vice Chairman of NIRC of ICI, to present the live memento of Mr. Rakesh Sinha, please. Again, I request with CA Hitesh Goyalji to give the closing remarks for this particular session. Thank you. I request with CA Hitesh Goyalji, please come on the dais.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. I, on behalf of NIRC and ICA, would like to thank Mr. Rakesh Sinha ji, Founder and Chief Executive Officer, Quintus Global and SSF Global, for enlightening all the members on this emerging topic, emerging avenue. So, and I hope that we all the members are, as we all are doing wonders in different avenues, we will definitely do wonder in this area as well. Because CAs can do anything and they can wonders in any area. वो कहते हैं ना, हवा के सहारे मत उड़, चट्टानें तो तूफानों का भी रुख मोड़ देती हैं. हवा के सहारे मत उड़, चट्टानें तो तूफानों का भी रुख मोड़ देती हैं. अपने पंखों पे रख एतवार, हवा के सहारे तो पतंगे उड़ा करती हैं. With these words, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Rakesh Sinha ji, for enlightening us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now let's move forward to our next session. The girl Dr. Aditi Haldar. She is the Director of GI South Asia, and CA Ramin Thaneja, ESG Reporting Specialist, Nokia. In this regarding, I welcome to CA Gaurav Agarwal ji. He is the RCM member of ICI. Please to come on the dais. Along with Dr. Aditi Haldar and CA Ramin Thaneja ji. I request with CA Gaurav Agarwal ji to present the live point to Dr. Aditi Haldar. And to CA Ramin Taneja ji, please. Thank you, sir. I request with the CA Gaurav Agarwal ji to give the opening remarks of this session. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everyone. Today, the sharpest mind and the fertilized brain of ICI is here in this room. I welcome you. This is not only a conference, this is not only a session, this is the first of its kind that we are talking here in India, in Delhi, about GCC. It's a revolution. It's not only a conference. This is just a beginning, and it will lead Indian chartered accountant, Indian brands to lead in the world. Now, before introducing the faculty of the day, let me share one Sanskrit sloka, Savdese pujyate raja vidwan sarvatra pujyate. एक राजा जो होता है उसको केवल उसके राज्य के लोग मानते हैं, उसके राज्य में उसका सम्मान होता है, पूजा होती है. But whenever intellectual like Aditi Haldar and C.A. Raman Taneja, wherever they go, they will get respect. विद्वान इंटेलेक्चुअल आदमी जहाँ जाएगा उसको सम्मान मिलेगा. So let me introduce the faculty of the day, Dr. Aditi Haldar. She is Director of GRI South Asia, whose work in shaping sustainability and framework and driving transparency has made a significant impact across the sectors. And about Raman Taneja ji, ESG reporting specialist at Nokia, who brings a wealth of practical insights and embedding ESG into the corporate DNA of global tech giants. Let me share one, two examples before we start. How can the Indian Chartered Accountant be a part of GCC? How can we be a part of GCC? How can we form a GCC? How can we lead as a GCC? I will share a story. Who actually made the lion the king of jungle? How the lion was elected as a, was there any election in the jungle to elect lion as a king? Yes? कोई इलेक्शन हुआ, कोई चुनाव हुआ कि आज शेर 50 वोटों से जीत गए, 1500 वोटों से जीत गए. कोई अभिषेक हुआ, संस्कार हुआ कि पिताजी रिटायर हो रहे थे and he made his son as a next king? No. Who is the fastest animal in the jungle? चीता. सबसे भारी कौन? हाथी. सबसे समझदार कौन, बुद्धिमान कौन? लोमड़ी. सबसे फुर्तीला कौन जो बहुत उछल कूद कर सकता हो? मंकी. राइट? सबसे टॉल कौन? जिराफ. कौन ऐसा जिसका डिफेंस सिस्टम सबसे अच्छा हो, जिसकी स्किन बहुत मोटी हो, उसके पे अटैक नहीं हो सकता? राइनोसोर्स. एंड हु इज द किंग ऑफ जंगल? लॉयन. जो हमने क्वालिटी बात करी, एक भी क्वालिटी उसमें नहीं है. देयर इज अनदर कपलेट, न संस्कारो न अभिषेको सिंहस्य क्रियते वना. न संस्कारो न अभिषेको सिंहस्य क्रियते वना विक्रमादित्य सत्यमेव मृगेंद्र दाता. दैट इज द वन हु थिंक आई एम द किंग, ही विल बी द किंग. Those who believe that I am the king, no one is better than me, they will be the king. That is what we have to learn from a lion. Lion और elephant, अगर एक हाथी और एक lion का एक मुकाबला होता है तो definitely हाथी उसको बहुत बार मारेगा. But the difference between the ideology of the lion and the elephant is, जब भी elephant lion को देखता है, elephant सोचता है किसी दूसरे रास्ते से निकलते हैं. लेकिन जब भी lion elephant को देखता है, वो सोचता है let me try it today. And that is what I want to share with you, that be a king. And to be a king, we have to think like a king, we have to walk like a king, we have to talk like a king, and that is how we can start to form GCC. That is how the Indian Chartered Accountant can be a part of GCC, that we have to think about it, that we can do wonders in the world. The first, मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ कि दुनिया में कोई भी काम होता है तो वो दो बार होता है. पहले दिमाग में होता है, फिर प्रैक्टिकल में होता है. The first thing, mere listening the session will not help. The first thing, we have to accept it, that yes, I can form a GCC. Yes, I can have a business in USA, Canada, France, anywhere in the world. I can give a solution to anywhere in the world. The first thing is we have to think ourselves. We have to be a king. We have to think like a king. And the second is, like I would request the panelists, like you will be speaking one by one, or will be a jugalbandi? One by one. Let me invite you first. Doctor. Okay. Let me, you can speak from there only. Yes. So I request Dr. Aditi Haldarji to please share his words of wisdom on a topic like ESG and sustainability. Like, how can ESG and sustainability be a part of GCC? Yes, ma'am. The journey of GCC with ESG and sustainability. Yes, ma'am.
So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. And it's nice to see still like, I think the room is getting filled just before lunch. And we both decided before coming into the room that we will not actually bore you with lot of information and knowledge, because I think small packages are good. Yeah. So the first thing of GCC is that you all are here to listen about sustainability coming from the financial world. Yeah. The important thing that I wanted to mention here to begin with is that how is finance connected to sustainability? The point here is we talk about sustainability in a very interoperable manner as the term ESG. Yeah? So ESG stands for environment, social and governance. Sustainability is a goal or a journey to be responsible and ethical about how businesses are run by being responsible on their environmental, social, economic impacts. And they are also careful and alert about the risks that the business can get into because of environmental and social impacts which the business activities can potentially impact. Yeah? So the point here is sustainability and ESG are almost the same thing. Sustainability, you can say this is a bigger goal, and ESG could be seen as something which is more specific and doable as action. Yeah? With that, I think the history of sustainability has been, at least in India, for many, many years. Yeah? It is whether you talk about our religious books and scriptures, but everywhere I think we have learned from our childhood in schools and in education institutions, that we need to be careful about how we behave, how we work, how we take care of others, and what we need to do to protect our land, our water, our air, and our energy system, right? So this is nothing new. The problem is, how do we put all this into action? Yeah? And when we don't put into action, we are just theoretically believing that we know everything about sustainability. The risk starts there. Yeah? So in businesses, it is not that sustainability is in the periphery. And I will bring that immediately to you, because every business activity depends on the natural capital and the social capital. Do you agree with me or not? Yes? Natural capital is about the air we are breathing in this room, the energy that is, we are all dependent here, the water that we are drinking and using for any other purposes, the biodiversity, and then all our activities are actually generating so much of waste and other difficult things that we need to manage. The social dimension is required because how does the company earn profit? Through human beings, productivity, skill, innovation, creativity, right? So if human beings who are working in businesses are not taken care, productivity will go down. Therefore, sustainability is not in the periphery. It is completely woven into any business performances on an everyday basis. Yeah? Be it a small SME, a tiny enterprise, or be it a large organization. It's all the same. Next, I would like to say, sustainability is not Western. Nothing is Western, you know. Nothing is just related to only North America and Europe. If we have to do business, if we have to generate income, if we have to grow our curve in a positive manner on finances, whether it's quarterly reports or yearly audits, we need to take care of our natural capital and social capital. The other weaving factor is, when we need to decide about any company's behavior and responsibilities on environmental and social dimension, governance become very important. Yeah? The promoter may just like to and love to look at the profit. But how is the profit generated? My question to you is that, yeah? Look at your own business entity wherever you are connected. Is the profit generated by damaging natural capital? Is the profit generated by damaging social capital? These are the two very simple things, but they become complex. The third dimension is the interrelation of environment and social dimension. So natural capital and social capital, they are connected, they are not separate. Yeah? If I have one pool of water and a business is running there and communities are living there, water becomes not an environmental issue only, but a social issue, which can lead to conflict and stopping the business activities, right? So it is very important to take care of these 2-3 things, and you may think that what is ma'am talking today? You know, very simple things, we all learn. But what happens when we leave the room and we are all decision makers, yeah? When we go back to our respective responsibilities, are we aware of environment, social and governance being interrelated? Are we really taking decision that sustainability and ESG is not Western, but very much ingrained in every region and every business? And the third thing is that in the boardroom, ESG is now becoming a regulatory aspect. Yeah? Our own SEBI has mandated the top 1,000 listed companies to have sustainability reports. It's called the Business Responsibility Sustainability Reporting Requirements, yeah, BRSR. GRI, of course, has been the pioneer of sustainability reporting for 28 years, and we are working in more than 102 countries. That's not the thing. What is important is how can businesses remain viable and dynamic and can grow in a secure manner, not by damaging the natural capital and the social capital. That is all about sustainability. Yeah? I would like to stop, otherwise it will look like a college lecture, because here is a practitioner who is actually dealing with challenges of sustainability and ESG every day. Yes?
I agree with your words. Like definitely, sustainability is not Western and not related to North America. Even when world was not aware where is North America, we are worshipping the rivers from that time. We are worshipping the sun from the time when world was not even aware about where is North America, right? And like on Makar Sankranti or in Chhat Puja. And we have been following Tera Tujhko Arpan, like giving back to the society from the thousands of years back when even North America was not into existence. So I agree with you. We have to understand that we, the Indians, we have given this ESG concept to the world. Over to you, sir. What do you want to?
Great. Thank you so much, first of all, Dr. Aditi, for your words of wisdom on what ESG and sustainability is all about. This is actually the real problem we are facing today in terms of ESG and sustainability. But what I'm going to talk about is something more than that, that relates to what it holds for a financial world, what it holds for chartered accountant. So you must be wondering, you know, how come a CA doing ESG and sustainability, how is that linked? You know, that's completely different ballgame altogether. So let me share my story, how I actually got into this field. So I have been working on financial reporting for almost 15 years in my professional career. Financial reporting, financial controller, closing and reporting, etc. All those things I've done. But when I heard about sustainability or ESG, I thought it's more of a buzzword, because everybody was talking about ESG, everybody was talking about sustainability. So I thought, before I even go into this field, why don't I speak with few people who are experienced? So I went to a college professor and I asked him what sustainability is and what kind of career it has. He says, sustainability? Everybody is talking about sustainability today. Whichever forum you go, whichever company you go, did you talk about sustainability? It's becoming a commodity. And I was a bit confused. Then I decided to go to a CA practitioner. I asked him, he happens to be a partner and mentor for myself, and I asked him, do you really know what sustainability and ESG is? And are really companies serious about ESG and sustainability? Or is common man knowing what sustainability and ESG is all about? His answer was, yeah, it's an emerging area, but nothing to do for Indian chartered accountants. It's a global context. Again, the same, which ma'am also mentioned, related to that. So it's not a topic, first of all, for India or only global. It's a topic which matters everyone, impacts every one of us. First of all, we need to get that thought process in our mind very clearly. What it holds for a chartered accountant, we'll understand in a short while, because what kind of opportunity it creates is something I'll relate to IFRS. I've been coming from that background. So when I qualified, we saw IFRS boom. Everybody just talked about IFRS. Everybody just talked about fair valuation. Everybody just talked about different concepts, componentization of assets, etc. All of those buzzwords were being spoken everywhere. Nobody anticipated that 10 years or 15 years down the line, corporates are going to consider IFRS as their reporting standards in India. That's where ESG is today. We are all talking about ESG because it is what is really impacting the environment. It is what is really impacting the social factors, the governance ones. There are a lot of issues there in the economy today which we have to take care. And that can only happen when there is some regulation around those. When there is some interest of people. When people are looking at ESG as main domain rather than just a compliance function. Definitely things start as compliance because that's how that's the first step. But the goal is not just compliance. The goal is to be a visionary. The goal is how ESG and sustainability reporting, how they can embed into business. That's the goal. That has to be the mindset. We were exactly, as an organization, I work with a telecom company and we have a lot of vendors, a lot of customers. So that was one question we had to see. Is it necessary for us to have ESG strategy or is it just for the sake of it, just for a reporting? So we intentionally, we just sat down, we thought about it, we gave it a thought, how ESG can be a competitive advantage for a business. That's the point number one. The second is more than competitive advantage. How can we work as a social entity? How can we contribute to environment? How can we contribute to social factors of human nature, of human working conditions? And how can we be a good company which is ethically recognized? So after doing a lot of research, after studying a lot of, and talking to many people and getting confused, but then I did my own research and I found a couple of things which were important. As a professional for me, as an individual for me, ESG is really, really important for all the factors which Dr. Aditi mentioned. But besides that, for a career growth, ESG is going to offer a really, really good career growth. And let me corroborate this by way of few research which have been done. So in 2024 to 2025, there was a comparison of ESG jobs in market. There's a 231% rise in job market for ESG professionals. Put together entire ESG market I'm talking about, which includes ESG reporting as well. So even if I take ESG reporting just 10% of it, it's still 25% rise in job market for ESG reporting. And we chartered accountants can do a lot more stuff in that area because we have a history, we have a strong backbone of reporting. We have a strong backbone of number analytics. That's what is being done in ESG. Although it's a non-financial reporting, at the end of the day, it has to have numbers. Ultimately, people will understand what number flow is all about. How are we achieving the targets? We have a strong backbone of writing reports. We have written a lot of financial reports for our clients. Exactly the same for ESG. I'm not saying there are no differences. There are differences. But at least these three P's bring a lot of certainty and career graph for us. That ESG is certainly going to have a good career graph for the chartered accountants. That's a point number one. Then coming to GCC, that's what we all are here for, right? We really want to understand what it holds for GCC as a whole. So, and I'll divide it into three buckets because answer will be different across buckets. The first one is in-house GCC, or those which are part of corporate group and want to enter ESG reporting. For those, it is important to understand how mature that company's ESG practice is. Because unless you understand whether the company is really giving a focus on ESG topics, you won't be able to contribute to it. So for all in-house GCC, it is important to go through global companies' ESG reports and see whether companies have got ESG strategy in place or not. Whether companies are embedding ESG into their decision making or not. Example could be buying. If companies are buying, let's take machinery. Are they giving focus on where those machineries are being manufactured? What kind of social factors are there in those countries where these are being manufactured? Are human rights being taken care? Is equal opportunity given to everybody who's working in that company? How about environment? What kind of energy saving that machinery is helping us? What kind of governance those companies are following? So imagine you're buying a machinery from a company which is a fraud. What will happen going forward? It's going to impact company as a whole. So that's why it's very, very necessary that to know at what level of maturity organizations are on ESG reporting. So that's first one for in-house GCC, or for those who want to enter into ESG practice as being corporates. The second one for those which have got GCCs and want to provide consulting to outside world, somebody else, some third companies. For them, it's important to know which part of the world have ESG as the most important focus. For instance, Europe, Middle East, they just announced their regulations. Australia, almost entire Asia is focusing on ESG. Let's leave behind US, but at least all other parts of the world have a huge focus on ESG related topics. So why don't we capture those areas? Why don't we capture those companies? Why don't we work with them and provide them services related to ESG? A simple step could be ESG trainings. That's the most simple step we could do. This is what companies are doing in India. Many companies in India have set up already ESG training centers. So the simple area would be ESG training for global organizations. Because there is a huge pool of people who are looking to scale up on ESG. It's a very niche area at this moment. So tap that market for those who have set up a GCC or you're planning to set up a GCC. Then comes the third category, practicing chartered accountants who want to focus on ESG as one of their core area of practice. Assurance and advisory services comes very natural for chartered accountants because we have been doing those in the past. And ESG is all about giving an assurance. Whatever companies have reported, are they making sense or not? Just certifying whatever companies have reported is valuable or not, something that you can trust or not. Because ESG is going to go a long way. It's going to go a long way for building trust and reputation of the company. One minor step or one minor wrong disclosure can go a long way in impacting the reputation, which is very harmful for the organization. So from my point of view, definitely it's a niche area, a niche area, I'd rather put it this way, something to look after for, but at the same time, we CAs should not lag behind. We should start to know about ESG regulations, what's happening around ESG around the world. We should start to read, we should start to upskill ourselves, because that's how we can create a global capability center. We cannot create global capability center unless we know what is happening in the world. I think that's my piece of advice.
I think I wanted to, and good that you brought out this point about reporting, because you all are so familiar with reporting and looking at, audit reports and all of that, yeah? So two things I wanted to mention here, that even for sustainability, if a business is required to have a sustainability report along with their financial report, I think two things, just remember that it is the international investors who are demanding the most. Yeah? For any company, it's the investor, requirements or decisions where the capital will flow is now getting related to environment, social and economic performance and governances. Yeah? So that is one. The other thing is international customers are choosing organizations who have sustainability report to become their favorite suppliers. Yeah? The second point I wanted to mention here is, although GRI also has been influencing many policies. So in 102 countries, we have influenced almost 489 policies. They reference GRI. The point here I'm trying to bring is, now the regulatory bodies and jurisdictions, they are actually now asking for sustainability reports. So as he was mentioning about Europe and other countries, in Europe we have ESRS, yeah, which is now going to trickle down to the supply chain, and everybody will have to have a sustainability report. So how do you need to understand where your company is? It is becoming imperative. There's no way out. Yeah? The other thing is, IFRS has now come in to have their S1, S2 on climate change. Yeah? And this is their sustainability standard. Mind you, we have to understand sustainability is not just environment and not just climate change. That's the starting point. The good news is, just 2 days back, GRI, our organization, has given this climate change standard, which is in line with IFRS S2. So companies are less burdened. They can look at whatever they are reporting to look at how it is interoperable with IFRS. So therefore, as chartered accountants, and if you want to really become global service providers, that this is the topic that needs clarity, that needs confidence of scientific understanding, and therefore, as he mentioned, that we need to have training and capacity building as the core. So I would really urge ICAI to not just have these big conferences and summits. We should have smaller training programs which can be followed up on, which can have a good pedagogy of how the mind can be trained. And coming to the mind, I think, our, MC mentioned about how the mind actually, builds everything and creates everything. So I want to just mention here that if in a white bowl, white water, a bowl containing white water, if you put one drop of black color, will it become black? No, it will not. So what we need to do is, if we have to change the mind, we have to go on putting that color again and again, again and again, every day. So this consistency in learning is going to be very important to actually make the chartered accountants really understand why sustainability is important, and how, through their experience and skill on reporting and due diligence and monitoring and review, you all are experts. Bring that rigor into sustainability reporting also. I would say it's a great opportunity for financial accountants to come into sustainability.
I must acknowledge the presence of dynamic chairman of NIRC, Sri Gaurav Garg ji, and I also acknowledge the presence of All India first rank Shivam Misra ji sitting in the front row. Thank you. Yes, please. Over.
That's very rightly said. Yeah. Yes, I just have few more data points and then I'll come to questions. So that's very rightly said, Dr. Aditi, that this is actually an opportunity for chartered accountants to capture it. And couple of more data points, how it's actually helping companies. And I'll give example of one Indian company. So they have been ranked #1 in Dow Jones Sustainability Index in IT services. Number one in India and second around the world. Why it's there? Because it's following all those practices for E, S, and G. It has a huge focus on energy saving. It has a huge focus on net zero target. The company is giving equal opportunity to all the workforce. The company is taking care of providing all the more health benefits to its employees. And then at the same time, the company is also ethically recognized. And more investors would be interested, as Dr. Aditi also mentioned, about investors' interest. More and more investors are interested to invest in those companies. There was a similar research done by one of our Big Four organization in 2023, which said that almost 70% of those investors are looking for ESG dimension in companies. So those companies who don't have ESG or don't have a strategy of environment, social and governance or sustainability lag behind those investments. So for companies to scale, for companies to be societal, to be more connected to society, it is important that they follow ESG as part of their operations. It also helps them to cut their cost. It also helps them to increase their revenue. Today's customer are always looking at which is a sustainable company. Do you all hear about it? We are sustainable, this is what we do, etc. when you're buying a product? Do you hear that sometime when you go to market? Because companies have become all the more interested because customers' interest is also there to buy only products for those companies which are sustainable. So definitely ESG is a turning point, sustainability is a turning point, and we chartered accountants have an important role to play because our experience, our strong backbone of reporting, our strong backbone of interpreting regulations and writing reports can help companies therein. Yes, I think somebody had a question.
Yes, anyone want to ask any question? Can you please?
So we talked about, the responsibility part of it, and then we touched about the aspect about reporting. I also heard that, data analytics and tech integration in ESG is also a very emerging area. I would just request if you can touch a little bit about that also, because that is also something for chartered accountants will be of interest.
Yeah, so thank you for giving me the opportunity to respond because, from GRI we have started our work and journey on digitizing sustainability report. And the first thing that we did was actually we have many partners in the technology world, and they want to help their customers to create sustainability reports in a digital manner. One is that writing a report and having a PDF version is one, right? The other is how can data be actually stored and decisions can happen through credible information flow. This is becoming a problem. How do you store the data? Who uses the data and who decides what data will be in the report and what data will be out of the report. So this was gaining a lot of difficulties in big corporations, especially in multinational corporations, and now it is coming to many national companies here in India as well. So digitization is the thing now, and thank you for bringing that up. The next thing we did was we created XBRL taxonomy for each of the sustainability tags so that anyone looking for any information on water can look at the XBRL taxonomy and can find data in their respective sustainability report. So this is a big work that is already complete. It will be nice for all of you to get connected and look at what is happening in the space of digitization. Yeah? Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Aditi, and let me share my perspective I think I want to answer his question as well, from a practitioner perspective, because in reality we face exactly the same challenge. And why? We need to understand why. Because ESG is not like financial reporting, that it comes a trial balance, you create a grouping, you create financial statement, and then you have various other certificates from consultants, etc., which help you prepare the financials. It's not like that. ESG data comes from hundreds of information, hundreds of tools. The GHG data will come from somewhere else, from facilities, the consumption of electricity. Then social data comes from various other reporting agencies like EcoVadis. The governance data comes from various legal cases that companies going through. So it's coming from various parts of the organization, let me put it this way. Be it the people organization, be it the legal and compliance function, be it the product or the individual products of the company or the business group or the business lines of the company, however it is structured. So data doesn't come from one source. That creates all the more complexity because data is not structured. It is not in INR, it is not in euro, it is not in dollar, it is not in percentage. It is in kilowatt hour. It is in gallons. It is in numbers, it is in percentage, and they all are different, not comparable. So you can imagine the kind of complexity it creates, and that's why digitalization is really, really important. So the first thing we did, at the first step for any GCC to think about digitalization is a big, big opportunity. And this is where I have seen many companies, I interact with many companies because we get to hear how they are doing digitalization and how our digitalization internally is different from them. They all have got one or the other tools, which is hybrid, which is very much connected to SAP. And that tool flows to SAP, which helps to do some financial calculations, quantification of those impacts, and then reporting. So digitalization is going to be one of the most important area, and AI can very much help in doing that. There are various tools available in the market to do that. Various companies are already working, and I'm surprised. I was just standing outside and asking Zoho about a reporting tool on ESG. They did not had one. They only had for financial accounting. Although, yeah. Sorry, please continue, I'll add something. Sure. So digitalization is going to be one important piece for GCC if they really want to have a techno-finance, a techno-ESG person to digitalize the reports. Generative AI is helping to create those reports, write those reports, and then improvise those reports. AI is helping to compare reports across the companies and see the best practices, do the benchmarking study. AI is helping to compare the regulations as well, how they are different. So I think AI will play a larger role, but from my point of view, that's a second step. The first step for all sitting in the room is upskill. That is more important. Do we really know what ESG is? Do we really know what regulations require us to report? Do we really know what is the depth of those regulations? As a simple example, in EU, there is a requirement that the company can have sustainable product, call it a sustainable, only when every year it saves 10% electricity consumption. Do we have that depth understanding of regulations? Digitalization will come later on when we'll learn about these areas also. So the first step is upskill. Know about regulations. Know what is happening around ESG. Go to those forums. Talk to people. There are hundreds of Indian, and I'm surprised to see that when I go LinkedIn, I'm very much connected and active. When I go through ESG post, not even a single person there is chartered accountant. They all are engineers. Why is that? And they're posting about ESG reporting, surprisingly. They all are talking about GRI, they all are talking about EU regulation, they all are talking about US regulation. None of them are from finance background. See the kind of area that they are tapping right now. So why don't we? Why we can't start from there? It's all the first step.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to mention here one point. I think there are two questions, already. I think when we have to look at all these issues, as he was mentioning, that multidimensional information coming, I am just posing a little bit of challenging question to all of you. Are chartered accountants really open to listening to all these information coming to them? Yeah? Because as I grew in my professional career, I used to be always scared about my finance department. I used to see only closed door. They take decision and they put the numbers and they say, this is what you can do and this is what you can't do. Sustainability really needs a change in that understanding of their role. It's not about just can do or cannot do, it's that middle path, And sustainability is the middle path and the journey to make an organization move ahead. It cannot be just black and white. Of course, regulations will be there to say the black and white or yes or no, but when decisions have to have to be taken, for example, one of the Tata companies, they actually did not invest in a project because the project had high potential of killing turtles in the eastern coast of India. This decision AI cannot do. This decision cannot be just black and white. It is the decision of the promoter and the true leader who can bring in ethics and the vision of where human beings will be going forward. Yeah? So I just thought that let me just put this across that sustainability sometimes could be seen in the form of a standard or a framework or a requirement and a checklist. It is much beyond that. So please keep that in mind, and maybe the roles of chartered accountants through the numbers can actually add to that vision in a much bigger and more concrete manner. So all of you have a lot of power. You have to actually see where you want to use that power. Yeah? Thank you.
So thank you for sharing wonderful insights on the ESG and sustainability part. So one question I would ask, what advice would you give to a finance or a strategy professional who are young and starting their career? So what are the some things that they should focus to champion the ESG part within the GCC? And one thing you mentioned, the upskilling part. And what are the some other key points which we should as a young professional keep in mind to do good in the ESG part?
Good question, in fact. So, from my point of view, if you see ESG sustainability and still deep dive into ESG and sustainability, there are various areas within the ESG and sustainability itself. The one is the assurance part, which is much easy cake for chartered accountants because they understand what assurance is all about. But more than that, if you are technically interested in a lot more areas, I'll say one area which is going to emerge in India is a carbon credit market. So for those who don't know, carbon credit means that every company in future, and every company means every company, they'll have to have carbon credit. They buy credit just like we get credit when we buy something from credit card, we get some credit points. So company will need to buy those carbon credits if they are not able to achieve their carbon targets. They will have to buy and compensate saying, this is what I have achieved, 90% I have achieved, 10% is through carbon credit. And why it's a carbon credit? Because somebody else in other part of the world have access credit for those. Because they have planted a lot of trees. So that's a carbon credit industry. Chartered accountants can capture that one. If you really want to see that as an area, that's one of the emerging area, very nascent area, is the carbon credits. The second area where you could think about is being an expert in regulatory framework. There are not many people in the world who are expert in regulatory frameworks. Only handful of them. Like if I sit today and talk about how many people in Delhi, NCR or India are working on ESG from finance perspective, there'll be handful. Only few of them. So you could start reading those regulations, being an expert on those regulations and advising ICAI how we can improve our regulations on BRSR, how we can make it more global so that they are very much comparable to what's there in the other parts of the world. So I think these are two areas which I will suggest. Easy cake. The third one could be a number of things which I mentioned before, trainings and all those areas which you could think about. But these are two highly emerging topics from my point of view. And anything which you want to add.
I think it's a very important point about regulation, but not just on reporting, like not just the BRSR. I would say please start reading about all the regulations related to environment and all about social. I know that needs a lot of understanding and, really going through a lot of websites, but that is a starting point for you, I think, yeah. The regulatory requirements of environmental and social responsibilities, one needs to understand very importantly. The other thing is you can actually these days, we don't have to go to libraries and look for books, yeah. I think this generation, all of us are blessed with online studies. So you can look at very good websites, you can look at the United Nations website, you can look at some of the regulation like the European EFRAG, yeah, or you look at ISSB, look at, WBCSD, yeah, look at Dow Jones, what they are doing, look at maybe GRI website, and you can learn, you can just become a login and, have your name and email and all of that, and you will get notifications of different updates. So learning is the key to actually opening the mind. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, please.
We are not in. We have the microphone. Say 20 years back, say for example, when we started our career, right? It was like you're thrown in water and then you're required to swim. Now the generations have changed. People would need, a comprehensive course. It could be anything. Like, what you mentioned 20 things right now, in your discussion. Whether institute has any comprehensive course on that, or there is any other course that you're can recommend so that people, young chartered accountants, it would help them because they need, the way they are structured and the way they are educated, they need to have things in place. They need a specific direction to grow. They're not like us where nothing was told to us, right? So this is a different generation. So is there anything that you can add? And further on building on this, you mentioned about, some of the reports from Dow Jones. So are there any good company reports that you have come across in your career that, you can suggest people out here who can read it, and who are the best, I would say, say for example, people like to read the annual reports of Warren Buffett, right, his company. Is there anything that from ESG perspective that you can recommend?
Okay, let
Thank you.
me answer one of your question. There is a specific committee of ESG in ICI, right? And it has been from last 4 years, right? And this symbol, like many of us are having on their blazer about sustainability only, and given by ICI only, right? So there is a specific committee on this particular topic by ICI, and there are courses throughout the year on this particular topic. You can just check in from www.ici.org, and there are online courses as well as offline courses.
Maybe I can share a few more things there, because practically that was exactly the tipping point which I had. When I had to enter sustainability, how do I upskill myself? I cannot go and keep on reading various literatures because it's a lot bulky. It's very difficult to understand. And normally experience comes through practice. When you implement certain things, that's how we have all seen. That's how we all are habitual of. Unless we implement or prepare one IFRS financial, we don't get to know what IFRS is. We'll feel sleep by reading it just plain text. So a couple of courses there. One is from ICI BRSR course. It's an online course. They talk about ESG from beginning. What E, S, and G is all about. How do companies have ESG strategy? What are various elements of BRSR report, the various principles, and how they link to sustainability development goals from UN. So they talk about all of those perspectives. So that's one really good piece to start with. That's my suggestion to everyone, that one of the course you should always do that. Then there are a number of other areas, like GRI website already has few really good courses. You have to log in there, register yourself, do certain courses there. There is CSRD Institute, which has got courses related to Europe. So first of all, you need to be clear which area you want to enter into. That's the first thing. It has got lot of depth. This area has got lot and lots of depth. The more you go deeper, the more you get to learn. GHG accounting in itself is a topic for chartered accountant, in itself. And there are GHG protocols which go into thousands of pages. Likewise, social factors in itself a topic. Social audit in itself a topic. So you need to be clear which area of ESG. Do you want to have a broader perspective of ESG? BRSR course. If you still want to deep dive and have a depth on those areas, go through those specialized countries or specialized regulations or specialized areas which are published. Like for GHG, there is a GHG website separately. So I think those are the kind of areas you need to identify first. It's depth. There are hundreds of topics. There are thousands of topics. So you need to be clear, and that's what we are here to help you. If there's anybody who need to get that clarity, we are there to tell you. This is what I have experienced. I have been experiencing for last 2 years, and trust me, initially it was difficult for me to understand what GHG is. I just kept on thinking about being a chartered accountant. What am I doing with GHG? How is it related to finances? But then I tried to create that bridge, and have come a long way and seen the report. We have just had one practical report that we have written. I have written it myself, the entire report for our group as a whole. Now it's the second year. We are thinking of digitalization of that report. So the point is that this is where our experience will come handy for you. So any topic that you need to understand in depth, I can refer you to respective websites. And maybe if you have something additional to add.
Just one thing, you can look at the GRI, Global Reporting Initiative website. We have an academy, GRI Academy, and you can look at having, your aspiration to become a sustainability professional. It's a 16 hours course. And then we have other 24 courses. One thing, also I wanted to share, that we have a GRI ESRS, interoperability course also, which are like 2 hours, 1 hour, all of that. But I wanted to, bring up your point, and I know you are waiting for the question. I would like to share something, that you shared that you were thrown into the water and you had to really find out, yeah? So I would say for the young professionals, take up one topic of sustainability in your own organization and start counting. I would say just simple counting. For example, in this room, what is the energy? What are the different ways energy is being used? How is this energy related to my power consumption and the financial bill? How can I cut down? Start with something simple in your own area of work where you have control and influence. Present that story to yourself or your boss and say, I want to make a change. This is the starting point of really acknowledging how sustainability is linked to finance. Please be very sure you can do academic courses, but if you are not hands-on, you will never be able to realize what is the real impact happening to planet and people. Yeah?
And that's, in fact, I also did the same thing, honestly speaking. When I entered this sustainability, how I can make my place as net zero. Is that how can I do that? It's easy to say net zero, we are hearing these terminologies everywhere, but how do we practically do that? What is net zero? How do I measure my GHG emissions? How do I measure impact which I'm creating in the society? It's very, very difficult. So then you go and read and then you try to implement. That's what was my starting point as well. So very rightly said, we all need to anchor one topic within our organization if we can do that. That'll change the entire world, honestly speaking. We don't even know the kind of challenge which it's being created. And there's one data point I just want to state here, since we talked about environment. Last 140 years, increase in temperature was just 1%. Next 75 years, if we go with the same pace of industrialization, it will be increased by 5%. 5% means sea rise of almost 7 feet, which means almost 30% of India is in water, which means almost 1/10 of world population is gone, which means almost 20% of world land is gone. It is that critical, and that's why regulators, that's why companies are trying to have net zero targets. That's why countries are trying to have net zero target. India has 2070 as a net zero target, and India is rapidly going towards it, very fast progressing towards it. There are a lot of initiatives in India like green hydrogen. There are a lot of carbon trade mechanism factors in India which are being done. So government is very, very actively seeking those areas so that we can achieve a target. Yes, maybe with... Yeah.
The last question of the day, Chairman Sri Gaurav Garg ji.
Past chairman.
Past chairman.
Thank you.
My chairman is always chairman.
Thank you. Being Dr. Aditi is here, one my suggestion or a point. ICI do conducts a course on ESG, but I think globally what is recognized is the GRI. So why can't we have a partnership between GRI and ICI to come up with a common course for members which is recognized globally? So being you are here, leadership is here, I think you should have a talk on this.
And you should be the bridge between them.
The second point, Dr. Aditi and Raman, when I thought of doing the ESG course, I checked the market. So currently what is happening that, the global companies, they form a policy, and India, it's more like a checkbox thing. So if you're working in a company like Nokia, you may have the opportunity to work on ESG reporting, but if you are in practice or trying to set up a ESG reporting, company, then I think the opportunity is currently a very insignificant. So what do you think from a timeline perspective, though it is good to do an ESG course, but as my colleague said that, she was thrown in the water. I believe, I actually jumped into the ocean and nobody thrown into me with the ocean. But from a revenue perspective, if I do the ESG course, maybe through GRI or any other organization, what should be my timeline for, earning the revenues? Because that is the main purpose.
So very important question, and good to actually interact like this, that please be very aware that supply chain and sustainability is becoming a very important aspect of doing business well. Yeah. So traceability across the supply chain is so important that SMEs who are not listed, who are just family-run enterprises, they all are getting into sustainability reporting. So the market for ESG professionals to get their employment or their consulting advisory is growing in leaps and bounds, especially when the ESRS is now coming and going to hit. Yeah? So we have to be aware that these are not only for just big companies, which we can see, but from our research that we did, we see GRI sustainability report from the listed companies about, I think, 75-80%, yeah, of the top 100. I think about 80%. When we did the SMEs, which are not listed, we saw thousands of companies having sustainability report based on GRI. So they are all hidden, they are simmering, and this is a fertile land where we have so much of diversity in our country. So I think we need to just rise up and say that we cannot just make you look at those, you mentioned about the checklist, but we can really give you the advice of how to do business well. Yeah? Unless we bring that concept of, running business well and not just meeting the requirements, I think game will change for ESG professionals. And also I think this fight between ESG professionals and the financial professionals, who is going to actually rule the world, it will, diminish. I feel it has to be this multidisciplinary, collaborative team which will actually run the organization. So you can see in the panel, he's from the finance and I'm from sustainability, but ICI brought these two expertise and experience for all of you. And then the session became very nice and very fulfilling, right? So even in business, I feel it has to be that collaboration of leading the way. Of course, chartered accountants will have their ability to look at regulation and say that this is what is the law of the land, we need to follow this. Therefore, we need to bring all these dimensions and intellect from different parts of the, the company to make it worthwhile for the business to grow. Yeah?
So, thank you very much for such a wonderful discussion. Now I hand over to the MOC of the day, Manisha ji, please.
Thank you so much. Kindly accept our heartfelt thank to Dr. Aditi Haldar and CA Raman Taneja ji for the panel discussion leading the journey of sustainability and ESG. Thank you to all. And I request CA Gaurav Agarwal ji to present the memento to Dr. Aditi Haldar and CA Raman Taneja ji. And I again request with CA Gaurav Agarwal ji to give the closing remarks and enlighten the audience. And after the closing remarks, we will resume here again at the 2 p.m. for the ongoing sessions on the GCC. Thank you.
Thank you, Manisha ji. What the learned faculties has shared is, we have to think about this topic, and the way Taneja ji has cleared the thoughts about how the world's going to face after 20 or 30 or 40 years. I was just having a conversation with one of the MLA of Tihri in Uttarakhand. He is doing this thing from last 40 years, Ganga Bachao and Himalaya Bachao अभियान sir. मेरे को आपका जब सुन रहा था उनका ध्यान आ रहा था. He was like कि 20 साल बाद में बॉम्बे आधा चला जाएगा, हांगकांग नहीं रहेगा, right? And मुझे ये लगा कि चलो नेता का भाषण है and thing. But when I just heard you, with the facts, this is a serious topic and the world will think about it, and we all the chartered accountant can have, we do have a potential to create opportunity for ourselves in that topic. और last में मैं एक ही line बोलूँगा, If we take it as an option, it may not be fruitful. But if we take it as a determination, it can be fruitful because it is said that विकल्प संकल्प को कमजोर करता है. Like if we take it as a विकल्प, तो may not be like हम सेशन सुनेंगे, जाएंगे घर और 2 दिन बाद ये भूल जाएंगे. लेकिन अगर इसको हमने संकल्प के तौर पे लिया कि ESG पे संकल्प करके इस पे काम करना है, then we will definitely be going to succeed. Thank you very much to all the members here. Like I don't want to come between you and the lunch. Thank you to all the participants and thank you to the speaker. Thank you very much. And I again acknowledge the presence of my chairman, CA Gaurav Garg ji, and all India first rank holder Shivam Mishra ji here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Presentation is all ready. Can I have a caller mic, sir? Huh? Yeah. So I wanted to, like, all of you will be very interested in understanding this concept, which is something very interesting. And let me just share my screen with you. So I thought today's discussion should be something which is a good takeaway for all of you here in terms of what's changing. Now, this breakout session was planned from a perspective of what we call it as the AI navigator. Okay? So, can you see my screen? Yeah, they will share the screen. When you talk about an AI navigator, क्या लगता है सर? क्या navigate कर सकते हैं आज के टाइम में? एक question, a very basic question I like to start with. Do you remember that earlier the people who used to travel, they used to see stars as something which is like their, navigating tool? Yes? That used to be a long time back. They used to use stars and all the things that used to be the way out. What has changed from a perspective of AI? What do you think is an AI navigator would be the thing? If I'm talking about a GCC finance, because this topic I'm just trying to do it, but I'm sure if some of you are getting into GCC, you will also find it very useful and all thing, and I like to keep it very interactive. No death by PowerPoint. मेरे पास सिर्फ 12 slides है. I think that is good enough. Yes? मतलब आपको चाहिए तो ज़्यादा भी कर सकते हैं. But I don't want to do that. Let me start with only 4 things which we'll take about, and then we will actually go for it. Discussion. First, Genesis. Second, tech as a compass. जो आपने देखा था, मैं बोल रहा था stars होते थे, आज हमें compass चाहिए. That is something which is there. Third, how many of you heard a term? आज के टाइम में ये बहुत चल रहा है. I don't know if you have heard autonomous finance. आप में से कितने लोगों ने सुना ये? Okay, autonomous finance, amazing. ये word बहुत interesting है. A little bit of Hindi is everyone can understand, right? Yes? No, I can speak in Kannada also if you would like to do. Like, yeah? No, pakka, sure, right? Okay, just a kind of a feel of the group. I'm assuming all of you are chartered accountant, that is what taken for granted. How many of you are like in practice? Can you raise your hand? And how many of you are already in employment or GCC or finance functions? Oh, good. So फिर एक काम करते हैं, we'll both examples we are going to take it up, how we can actually deal with that, okay? Genesis. Okay, एक बात बताइए. How many of you have heard about कि जो AI वगैरह, all that hue and cry which is happening right now, it is not something new. Do you agree or disagree? Agree? Don't you think it's like pretty, वो था ना नई bottle में पुराना माल. Like if you have seen my profile, I teach at IIM Bangalore. I'm an adjunct professor there. Now, when I'm actually going there, we get access to ResearchGate. How many of you are in research? Anyone has done ResearchGate and all thing? No? If you are reading research papers, I get a chance to go through a lot of research papers because I have to write research. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I'll just quickly, I'm Anand Prakash Jangid, basically a chartered accountant. Started my career with Aditya Birla Group. Then I was working for Goldman Sachs for a few years in Japan. Came back, worked with Infosys for 9 years. 2016, I had a small heart attack. So I said, corporate job is killing you. All my friends who are in corporate. Yeah, yes or no? Corporate job is killing you. So I said, सबसे easy काम करते हैं, ये सब boring काम नहीं करते. So what is easier than taking corporate job? मैंने सोचा teaching मस्त है, एकदम पैसा भी मिलेगा और कुछ नहीं करना पड़ता. So I joined IIM Bangalore as adjunct professor, but उधर पता चला no. It is actually tough. You have to write research paper. And this is one of the place, a good thing is that you are having IIM Bangalore ID, so you get access to all the research sites and all things. But the bad thing is that I wrote one paper on NPCI. It's a 50 pages paper, and I swear, उसको लिखने में 90 days लगा मुझे. मैंने बोला second heart attack, academics लाएगा. तो better thing, let me do something which is more fun than academics and पैसा भी अच्छा. So what is the easier thing than teaching? No, training is teaching only ना. क्या मैम आप खाने का effect है अभी ये post lunch sessions always हाँ? ना coaching is not. Consulting is fun. You know why? Either you convince the client or confuse the client. बस. तो I said that is easier and पैसा भी अच्छा है. Okay, don't take it otherwise. But I got into consulting with a couple of my friends who were from Goldman Sachs and Infi, and we thought there are a lot of things which are changing, and autonomous finance is something very close to my heart. I'll show you some examples also. Can we just remove these chairs? See, guys, can you see this slide which is there? It's a breakdown I wanted to give you. लोगों को क्या लगता है? AI is one technology. How many of you think AI is one technology? No one. Very good. AI is a bundle of things. If you remember, I don't know how many of you are attending my session at the inaugural. I just talked about something called smart tech. A technology which is smart enough, which can actually change it up. And this smart tech is actually something, you can see this slide, it covers a lot of things. Like how many of you heard about something very interesting, very close to my heart? I'm actually trying to see, आप लोगों ने वो class 1 में किया है? मतलब there will be picture of animals and name of animals and match the following. किया है? अरे पक्का, फिर तो पढ़ाई की आप लोगों ने, अच्छा, ठीक है. So if you have done that, you know, there are a lot of technology. How many of you have like talked about Vision AI in finance? Have you heard about Vision AI? How many of you have heard about Vision AI? No? This is I'm very excited about that. I like to show you something, and feel free, you know, to discuss. I'm sure all of you have got ChatGPT on your phone and Gemini. If you are using it, they have now feature. Earlier it was in Lens, Google Lens, you had the feature. Now this concept is called as, you can see this is live video which is going on. And I can just say, can you describe me what do you see here in front of you?
Sure. It looks like you're at a conference or a presentation, and there's a screen in front of you displaying a slide. I can see some attendees seated and listening attentively. It seems like a really engaging session.
Okay, can you tell me what this gentleman is wearing?
The gentleman in front of the camera is wearing a dark colored shirt, and it looks like he has a lanyard around his neck, probably from the event. Everyone seems to be having...
Yeah, sorry, does he have a beard or not?
Yes, he does have a beard. It looks like a well-groomed beard, and he seems to be smiling a bit, which is not...
I hope he's not bored with the session, right?
He definitely looks like he's engaged and enjoying the session, especially with that smile. I'm sure he's having a good time.
Okay, thanks. Now, this is Vision AI. This is a very basic tech, okay? If you actually, you know, talk about this 5 years from now, it was expensive. I don't know how many of you have gone to a site called huggingface.co. One person, okay, cool. Go to the site, you will see so many models are there of AI. I have been playing around that since 2017. And what we see is in all these things, something very interesting. People don't know how to use it. What if I tell you right now, Vision, am I audible in the back? How many of you know that Vision AI is, oh, little up. Is it better now? Okay. How many of you know that Vision AI is being used in industry for stock taking and analyzing documents and other things? And it does it in a very beautiful manner. But the problem is many of the people don't know how to actually use it. The idea is, I showed you this one is, there's a lot of tech which is there, lot of tech. लेकिन अगर हमें पता ही नहीं है कि उसको यूज़ कैसे करना है, Don't you think it's the biggest challenge which is there? We are seeing, at least at GCC level, because what has happened is organizations have centralized their function. There is a chance that you can play with that. And you know, organizations can also basically do what we can earlier not doing, have some budget to do experimenting or exploring new ideas and all the things. That something leads to the change. If you have attended my session in the morning, I told something very interesting that time. I don't know if you noticed it up. I am really excited about that. 1 month back, I learned this term, citizen developer. What has happened is, earlier, when I got into AI, that is in 2017, we didn't have something called as generative AI, what we see today. When we got into that, it used to be traditional AI, which is ML, machine learning and other kind of stuff. I used to be very excited about that, but what happened is, from there, when the generative AI came, it has come to a level you give a prompt and it can be done for you. Now, how many of you have in your enterprise already either an enterprise version of Google Workspace, which is Gemini, or you may have ChatGPT Enterprise? Some of you are already playing with that. I am working with many of the GCCs. They are actually all taking it up, trying to play with that. But the problem is, no one knows the use cases. मतलब ये ऐसा हो गया, मेरे पास एक जबरदस्त technology है. I don't know how to use it. This is the biggest problem than the technology itself. And at finance level, this is the problem we are trying to solve. Now, here, there are some boring stuff I want to talk about, but it is important because this boring stuff will take us to the next level of our discussion when I show you some examples and demo. Shall we try to do that? Now, how many of you heard about, there is a kind of a concept which is coming up. Every function of AI or organizations are using AI. आप marketing में जाके देखो, they are using it. You go to operations, they are using it. Only function जो use नहीं कर रहा है, वो है finance and audit. क्यों? क्योंकि हमें लगता है क्यों use करना? हमारा चल रहा ना, सही चल रहा है, ठीक है. But what we are not understanding is, if we don't use it, we will not understand what it can do for us. And the point is, the value chain which we are trying to add up, it is not going the way we would like to do that. Now, here, there is a shifting business model. When I say shifting business model, I want to tell you something very interesting. How many of you heard about a term, like, think of a company like Flipkart. Flipkart head of audit is a good friend of mine, Rajiv Gupta. Now, Rajiv tells me that, Anand, our model is totally, we scale up only on a concept of cloud, data, and basically we don't have to have stores and all things. It's all about having it on a cloud, using AI, using data, that's all, and that works for us. And एक बार अगर आप सोचे, fulfillment छोड़ के, fulfillment centers का अगर आप उनको छोड़ देते, तो then don't you think that they are literally doing the same thing? It's a new business model. They are changing. It is changing from the way we used to have our old models. And this is the same thing happening from old fragmented systems. I am 110% sure यहाँ पे जितने लोग बैठे हुए हैं, either in your company or for your clients, you will always see legacy system, पुराने system पड़े हैं, or you have new system and a mix of that. Now, earlier, integrating all these things used to be a big problem. I learned one more new word actually in the SAP conference, which was a new term called core clean. They are saying कि boss, इतना ज़्यादा customizations in Oracle and systems and all things are not going to work. Business is changing so fast. आप core को एकदम simple रखो, जो भी करना है system के बाहर करो. Try to keep a layer where you can do reporting, anything, whatever you would like to do that, but outside the system, not in the system. And the third is speed. Gone are the days. एक बात बताइए, ठीक है? Let me ask you a question. This is like my favorite example. We are in 2025, right? How many of you are in conspiracy theory? No, okay. Sir, okay, only one person. Okay, so आपने वो conspiracy theory सुनी नई वाली Mayan calendar वाली कि 2012 में world end होने वाला था? हाँ? नहीं, 2012 में फिल्म भी आई थी. हाँ, अब उन्होंने चेंज कर दिया, रिवाइज किया उन्होंने उसका. तो उसका नया रिवीजन डेट है 35. 2035 वर्ल्ड इज एंडिंग, कि उन्होंने बोला हमने कैलकुलेशन सही नहीं किया था, एक्चुअली द मायन कैंडल इज एंडिंग इन 2035. तो हमारे पास लिटरली कितना टाइम बचा है? 10 साल. नाउ अब एक बात बताइए, आई एम इन दिल्ली, दिस क्वेश्चन इज फन. ओके, how many of you here have an XUV 700 or an Seltos with ADAS? Any of you have an ADAS car, ADAS? No? No, okay, only one person, only one rich CA. Which one, ma'am? XUV 700. Okay, did you try the ADAS? Autonomous driving? Madam, आप लोग पैसा खर्च करते हो, use नहीं करते हो. This is, okay, so, हाँ, हर एक पैसा बहुत है दिल्ली में, right? So, ADAS, if you've seen that new exciting thing, yesterday आप लोगों ने कुछ नया news सुना, बहुत interesting था. Tesla delivered itself to a customer. For the first time, the car delivered itself to the customer. It happened, I'm not joking, go and check it out. It was yesterday news. India car, XUV 700 and all things, they are ADAS 2, Autonomous Driving Assistance System 2. Tesla is ADAS 12. Can you see the change which is there? Now, why I'm telling you is कि आज हम लोग बैठे हैं 2025 में. I got stuck at Safdarganj and I was actually started at 1:40. I thought it would come in 20-30 minutes, but I got stuck there because some traffic jam was there. I got late. Imagine a time I have to depend on my driver who was driving the thing. Imagine आज से 10 साल बाद अगर I tell you that you are actually going from Delhi to Jaipur on a road trip and you talk to your friend saying that याद है एक टाइम था जब हम लोग स्टीयरिंग व्हील यूज करते थे. हाउ वुड यू फील? इट लुक्स लाइक अ स्काई-फाई स्टफ? नो मोर. आई एम नॉट जोकिंग, इट्स नॉट अ स्काई-फाई. ADAS, ma'am, you would have tried it. I tried, one of my friend had an XUV 700. We went from Bangalore to Belgaum by road, and after Tumkur we put, Bangalore में तो नहीं चला सकते. Traffic situation is not great. But the moment we went out, I put it in ADAS, and it was lovely. 63 kilometers non-stop we go in. And you know what was the feeling I was getting? Remember जब साइकिल चलाना सीखा था पहली बार हाथ छोड़ के चलाया तो कैसा look ma no hand. It has that feeling. And it was dying also lane change. Are you aware of that? It does lane change. Like ting 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 goes and I was so excited. I said I want to buy this car now or anything which comes. But he said नहीं अभी नहीं थोड़ा दिन रुक जाओ बाद में देखेंगे. So the point is that it is exciting, but it is only ADAS 2. ADAS 12 आज कल का news है. It delivered itself to the customer. आज आपको लगेगा कि नहीं आनंद ऐसा नहीं होगा, लेकिन what I'm trying to say is there is a kind of a thing which is coming. Autonomous finance is coming our way. We would be required. In fact, one of the nice analogy I heard from the creator of Siri, that gentleman's name is Babak. He's now working in, he has changed from Apple and he's working for another company. He said, guys, you would be seeing that in time to come, if your company have an IT department, they will more act like an HR. वैसे भी HR काम तो करता नहीं है. But they will be more of thinking of which AI to use and which agents to use instead of doing any of the technology development. World is changing. When we have this kind of stuff coming, don't you think it requires us to understand कि इसका हम पे क्या impact पड़ेगा? Do you agree or not? And can you think of, there is like huge amount of data. मैंने आपको जो बताया था dark data, this is real problem. I am still seeing ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डोंट इवन नो कि उनका डेटा है कहाँ पे. डेटा बहुत है लेकिन उनको पता ही नहीं कहाँ पे है और उसका यूज़ कैसे करना है. पीपल डोंट नो अबाउट दैट. सो दोज आर द थिंग्स which we need to understand, appreciate, and take that forward. Now that brings to this one, the smart cortex. This is where finance is becoming the red hot टेस्टिंग ग्राउंड बोल दीजिए या फिर आप इसको बोल सकते हैं कि दिस इज द यूज केस ग्राउंड, बट इट इज इन प्रेडिक्टिव मॉडलिंग. एंड व्हेन आई से वेयर डिड आई पुट माय स्लाइड चेंजर, डिड आई पुट समवेयर, एनीवे इट्स ओके. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज द प्रेडिक्टिव मॉडलिंग and I'm only no, this is my oh shit, I am so bad. I thought this is my okay, my bad. Thank you for telling me. See, that human stupidity is always going to be there. Predictive modeling is something which is very interesting, and I want to tell you, I want to show you something. Can I show you something? Okay. मैंने आपको आज सुबह एक बात बोली थी, डिजिटल ट्विन इन फाइनेंस. याद है? Oh, you're new lot. Sir, आज Saturday को morning में नहीं आए. Good, good. I would also be sleeping at that time. So I talked about something. I would highly recommend it if any one of you are into seeing what is the change happening. Oh, आप लोग नहीं आए थे? कितने लोग नहीं आए थे सुबह वाले सेशन में? Okay. तो सर, okay, okay. So anyway, for people who have not come, two things you have to go and read out. One is, how many of you are below the age of 40? Below the age of 40? Your life is screwed. You have to read more. हाँ? नहीं, discrimination करना पड़ेगा. देखिए, sir, you are above 40. You have enough black money. You will survive. Okay? Those guys are into being. So, I'm sorry to say that, but you will survive. I will survive. Okay? We will somehow survive. But if you are below the age of 40, you need to read something called Future of Job, which I told you about, because it's something very important. The world is changing. And second thing which is there is I told you about in the morning session, digital twin in finance. And I would like to show you some examples of that, because I have a demo system which I have done. Idea is, I want you guys to reimagine finance. If you can't reimagine finance, आपको वही लगेगा, there is a kind of a saying. Automobile जब आया था, अगर if at that time, initially, किसी को पूछा जाता कि boss, what do you want to go from place A to B faster? They never say we want an automobile or mechanized. They wanted faster horses. We need to change our mindset that the same thing what we were doing will go for a long time. Simulation is something which is very interesting in digital twin. I would like to show you that, just have a look at this next slide. Can you see this is the AI value chain? We have FP&A, treasury, sales operation, and other stuff. In each of them, if I tell you that there is a use of AI and there is a way AI can be a change and can update it, don't you think that would be something very interesting to understand? Let's try to see that in action. Shall I try to take you there quickly? Let me share my screen. Just give me a second. Okay. It will take some time to load. I just open it up. I will not go into all these things. I'll just go and try to show you FP&A. Scenario analysis. Interesting. This is a very interesting thing. See, this happens. Oh, my internet. Just a minute. Huh? Sorry for that. Just give me 1 second. Okay. By the time I get this thing, let me speak on this point. Can you see the screen? Now, can you see FP&A? We have something which is budgeting, forecasting. Like, I actually heard one of the CFO telling me one very interesting thing. I'm just sharing with you. His point was, Anand, I get hundreds of email saying that mere account, the function is asking how much budget is left for this year to spend or this quarter to spend. Happens in every organization or not? His point is that why should I put one of my best person or even a chartered accountant to do this kind of thing? Like, how many of you here get excited in the morning ki chalo aaj reconciliation karte hain? Anyone? No, right? It's a boring stuff. Why do you have to do the boring stuff? My point is that anything which is boring, anyway, we are living till 2035, right? Jo bhi boring cheez hai, don't you think it makes sense that we can actually make all the rest of the thing all go away? That is exactly, it can be on budgeting, forecasting, simulations, and you can see SBO efficiency to all this thing. What I am trying to bring out here is, think of a situation. Sorry, let me go back. Okay. In each of them, if I can actually use AI, is it feasible or it doesn't look feasible? Think of this. Just have a look at that. Not feasible? Feasible? अब मेरा एक क्वेश्चन आपसे है, treasury, don't you think that is area where you are dealing with hundreds of different parameters and other things which is there? if I have to do a hedging, I have to do anything and all that kind of stuff, does it becomes a big problem or not? In any organization per se? It does. That's one of the area which is there. And the third one is supply chain, sales, and operation. I have a very interesting use case which I would like to talk with you, and where AI is playing a very important role. It is called pricing excellence. I don't know how many of you are aware of this one. Same item, when I'm selling it up out there, what is my pricing thing? And what is my kind of P&L which I'm trying to do it? How it is working for me? What are the key challenges I'm facing? How it is working? Every organization would like to know their competition analysis and all kind of thing. So you can see this inventory optimization to promotion. Like for example, for one of the, it actually happened with one of the high-tech company which was actually selling electronic item. At one point of time, they figure it out कि हम discount दे या नहीं दें. People will buy this item for sure. Or if there is a kind of thing where people are buying it, why should I spend money on that? So all that kind of decisions can help you done using in this of the areas, in this vortex which is there, a value chain can be created. Now, based on the same discussion, what I would like to do is, I would like to take you to the next level of the discussion. So I am showing you something very interesting. This is called, what happened? I duplicated, right? Okay. This is called scenario simulation. Why I am actually spending so much of time of this thing? I actually want to just explain you one concept which is the digital twin in finance. AI makes this possible. What do we mean by digital twin in finance? मैं आपको एकदम छोटे से समझाता हूँ इसको. Do you know a gentleman called Mr. Warren Buffett? Yes. उनकी कंपनी का नाम है Berkshire Investment, right? Big rich guy. How many of you know that which is the company where he made his first billion? Any guess? Huh? No, Coca-Cola second थी. उससे पहले एक कंपनी थी. If you Google it, the name of the company is See's Candies. This was a California-based candy shop. और उसमें एक बहुत interesting thing है. If you read the autobiography of him, you will understand. Warren Buffett, he always talks about compounding, ना? आपको याद है? He tells compounding and all thing. He's saying, I could have taken the decision earlier, कितना अच्छा होता, अगर ये कर लेता तो बहुत अच्छा होता, all that kind of thing. You know what happened? See's Candies was the first company where he took the majority stake and he went and said to the CEO, hey, you know what? I want to increase the prices of candies by 40%. उन्होंने बोला, अरे, अगर 40% increase करेंगे तो loss हो जाएगा, sale कम हो जाएगी, blah, blah, blah. He said, I am the majority stakeholder now, let me take the decision. I am telling you, if this year you don't give me dividends, I am fine with that. They increase it up. Sales actually increased. They were able to, whatever their capacity was there, they were to use 100% of that. Second year, he went to the CEO again and said, I wanted to increase it by 60% this time. He said, "Arey, pagal hai kya? Last time ho gaya, that was enough." You know, most of the time, decision making, he said, I'm telling you, no, we do it. They increased 60%. Despite that, it was a bumper year. And third year, you know how much? 15% more. 3 times he did it up. And every time he found out that, yes, we could actually increase it up. He actually said, I should have done the decision on the first year only. 2 साल मेरा waste हो गया, compounding का चला गया. He has that kind of issues. But think of that. Can you do this kind of scenario that what will happen if my COGS change? What is going to happen if macroeconomic factors changes? Don't you think today, you know, Anil was talking in the morning, we are living in a very, very volatile environment. Changes hota rehta hai. Aapka decision making and all the things which is there. Don't you think finance, if we want our seat on the table at the board level, you need to be actually having it up. This is just an example. It's made a sample example just to show what happens if you change multiple things. Let's say, for example, I change this one. CPI, I change to this one. I change unemployment rate. I change the GDP. I said my Merck. Forex reserve, I change it up on something. And based on all of these things, I run a simulation. You can see what was the number earlier and the number will change if I change it up. So it is trying to do the simulation for you and saying your simulated revenue is going to be $10.38 billion. Based on this one, how you're changing it up that. You can do multiple simulation to a level of, I know someone, have you heard about something in finance we call flux analysis? Yeah, we all do flux analysis. If you're doing flux analysis, AI can actually add a layer on top of that, which is too good. Your decision making will be much faster. हम लोग ऐसा नहीं सोचेंगे कि यार देखते हैं क्या होगा क्या नहीं. You are taking informed decision, and that is all about. And think it also from a risk management perspective, friends. I'm just telling you something very close to my heart. My ex-boss at Goldman Sachs was Martin Schneider. He always used to say, you know, if you're talking about risk management, it is not about actually managing risk. It's all about no surprises. Don't you think if we can be in a situation where we don't have any surprises and all things, that is something which is very close to our heart? That something is important. और ये जो चीज़ें हैं, ये आज के टाइम में ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो यूज़ नहीं कर रही हैं, they are going to be in a what I call it as a suspended animation kind of mode कि ठीक है चल रहा है same way and all the thing, you can actually feel it up in terms of dealing with that. I'm just giving you one example of multiple simulation. You can see this green part is all simulation कि यहाँ पे यह है, आगे क्या होगा, इसके बेस पे क्या चलेगा. And this things gives you lot of power to use data effectively. Yes sir. हाँ सर, ये मैं एग्जांपल के लिए बस एक टेम्पल बना के लाया, टेम्पलेट है, हजारों आप डाल सकते हैं इसमें. हाँ, yes sir, please.
There would be a lot of assumptions.
Yes sir.
There would be a lot of assumptions
Yes.
used in the model in terms of what would be the simulated
Perfect.
revenue, what would be
Perfect.
the cost.
Perfect.
So in terms of reliability.
Sir, I agree. This is a good question. Did you hear sir's question? How do you rely on that? Sir, एक बात बताइए. Always understand one thing. Predictive हम जब भी करते हैं ना सर, आप 100% accuracy claim नहीं कर सकते. I go to many audit committees and we present some of our things. वो बोलते हैं आनंद, oh you did an anomaly detection based on this. Great, you did a great job. कैसे निकल के आया? You know what is my answer? नहीं पता सर. I'm not joking, seriously. Because audit committees, the directors at that level, they are always in that mode कि बताओ कैसे निकला. So my answer is I don't know. The reason is we don't have XAI, explainable AI. आज के टाइम में when you go and ask anything to ChatGPT, don't go by my word. Have you heard about Claude AI? Claude.ai? The company is owned by Anthropic. Anthropic CEO says, we don't know how Claude gave this answer. AI, you are training it. You have to go back to the fundamental. Fundamental क्या है? Machine learning. It learn on a data. वहाँ पे वो डेटा लर्न करके ऐसा भी हो सकता है गलत भी करे. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई होप यू आर अवेयर ऑफ दैट, गूगल का पहले जो अभी जेमिनाई है, इसका पहले नाम क्या था? बार्ड. तो क्या हुआ? न्यूमरोलॉजी अच्छी नहीं थी इसलिए चेंज कर दिया. हाँ नहीं, क्यों चेंज किया? कोई रीज़न तो हुआ होगा. द रीज़न वॉज देयर वॉज क्लास एक्शन सूट फाइल अगेंस्ट गूगल saying that it is racist. अगर a black person is putting a picture out there, it will say you look like a gorilla. Yeah, it happened, and US is a very racist society. Let's agree to that. Black Lives Matter, one of the group, filed 17 class action suit against them all across US. What can you do? So अभी जो चीज़ है ना सर, मैं बता रहा हूँ, आपकी बात एकदम सही है. हम इसको बोलेंगे predictive.
Sir, but predictive के लिए भी there should be some,
हाँ.
like you said कि we don't know how
नहीं
it gave
नहीं
the
नहीं, I
results.
agree. मैं ये नहीं जानता.
But
हाँ.
on the basis of simulation, you are going to make certain decisions.
Perfect.
अब इसमें the revenue would also depend upon the customer behavior. Like
सर, अब
you
मैं बताता हूँ.
gave the
इसमें हम लोग
example
थोड़ा,
of
there is
forum.
actually, you are right. सर, आपने statistics पढ़ी थी क्लास 9-10 में? पक्का?
याद नहीं.
सर ये चीटिंग है सर, ऐसा नहीं होगा. अब क्वेश्चन पूछने वाला था, सर को लगा क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे. सर आपने लीनियर रिग्रेशन पढ़ा? कितने लोगों ने लीनियर रिग्रेशन पढ़ा है? सर नहीं, इन्होंने नहीं पढ़ा सर, इन्होंने नहीं पढ़ा. सर हमारे पास टाइम कितना है? पुनीत जी, पुनीत सर, टाइम कितना मेरे पास? और 20 मिनट है? 25 मिनट? अरे ज़्यादा सर वाले जितना ले रहा. यू गाइज डोंट गेट बोर्ड, ओके? आई हैव फुल टाइम. हाँ
जल्दी मत खत्म.
नहीं, मैं जल्दी नहीं, आराम से करेंगे सब, बिंदास. तो सर ने क्वेश्चन, लीनियर रिग्रेशन आप लोगों ने देखा होगा, हम एक एक्स एक्सिस वाई एक्सिस पे सारा डेटा प्लॉट करते हैं नहीं करते? मैं आपको एकदम सिंपल से समझा रहा हूँ सर. एक्चुअली ये लीनियर रिग्रेशन है. मैं आपको बोलता हूँ, लीनियर रिग्रेशन में हम क्या करते हैं? हम डेटा प्लॉट करते हैं एक्स एक्सिस वाई एक्सिस, और एक लाइन लेते हैं विच विल गो थ्रू द मोस्ट ऑफ द डेटा. मतलब जितना भी मैक्सिमम डेटा से हम एक लाइन निकालते हैं, ठीक है? अब वो हमारा एक मीडियन टाइप से, जो भी आप बेस बन गया, उस लाइन से जो जितना दूर होगा, आपके लिए वो एनामोली है या नहीं है? एक्सेप्शन है या नहीं है? ऑडिट में हम क्या करते हैं? वही करते हैं ना, इम्पैक्ट लाइक्लीहुड. हम वो एक्सेप्शन निकालते हैं. लेकिन आप अगर पूछेगा आनंद ये कैसे आया, वो डेटा है सर, उसको प्रिंट हुआ और उसने अपने आप एक लाइन बनाया, लाइन एआई ने बना के दिया। अब वहाँ से जितना दूर है आई विल से दैट इज देयर। और मैं आपको एक रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा सर, अगर आप क्लास 9-10 का मैथ्स और स्टैट्स जानते हैं, मशीन लर्निंग इज मेंट फॉर यू। इन आवर ऑफिस, और दिस वन व्हाट यू आर सीइंग इज एक्चुअली मेड बाय अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट ओनली, इज कोडेड बाय अ सीए, कोडेड, आई एम नॉट टेलिंग यू मेड, कोडेड बाय अ सीए। इट्स नॉट, सीएस हैज़ टू कम आउट ऑफ दिस माइंडसेट कि हमें आईटी नहीं पता, हम बता देंगे फंक्शनल, नहीं, हमें पता होना चाहिए बैकएंड में क्या चल रहा है। इफ़ वी अंडरस्टैंड द कोड, वी अंडरस्टैंड क्यों लिखा है, और कोड तो आजकल सिस्टम जनरेट करके देता है, आपको तो कुछ करना ही नहीं है, दैट्स द थिंग। ओके, एनी अदर? यस सर, या फील फ्री, कैन यू बी लाउडर सर? या यस, पास ऑन सर। वेरी गुड पॉइंट। If you are using financial modeling, a good point, very good point. To some extent, it is a financial modeling because, but financial modeling is rule based. अब मैं यहाँ पे आपको बोलना चाहूँगा, sir, how do you differentiate between automation and autonomous? Your question is perfect. I was coming to that. You brought it up. Thank you. Your good name, sir? Jitendra. Please have a seat, sir. You are a CA now. You can sit and ask. नहीं सर, जब तक स्टूडेंट रहते थे हम लोग भी खड़े होकर पूछते थे, अभी सीए बनने का तो फिर बैठ के पूछते हैं, ठीक है सर। देखिए जितेंद्र जी, योर क्वेश्चन इज राइट। सर ने क्वेश्चन पूछा कि हाउ इट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम फाइनेंशियल मॉडलिंग। हम लोग एक्सेल में फाइनेंशियल मॉडलिंग तो कर ही रहे हैं, करते नहीं करते हैं, लेकिन उसमें डिफरेंस क्या होता है सर? आई विल एक्सप्लेन इट यू। एनी मलयाली हियर इन द हाउस? ओह मैम, योर गुड नेम? भावना मैम, हैव यू सीन, I will talk about movies. मुझे movies बहुत अच्छी लगती है. I watch all movies. So Bhavana ma'am, have you seen this Guruvayur, that movie has come na recently?
Yeah, Guruvayur Ambalam.
हाँ, Ambalam. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I have
Okay,
seen.
nice or good? Not good.
Good.
So as Bhavana ma'am said, that movie अगर आप लोग देखते हैं, अभी Hotstar डिजिटल उस पे OTT पे भी आ गया, जियो हॉटस्टार पे भी है, हिंदी में भी आती है, देखिए मस्त मूवी है। उसमें में दिखाते हैं शादी हो रही है, उसमें बहुत सारे ड्रोन्स यूज़ होते हैं। आपने देखा आजकल, अभी तो दिल्ली में तो एक नहीं, हाँ बैन है, होटल्स में बैन है, बट इफ़ यू कम साउथ आवर साइड, मैरिज सीजन में एक मैरिज में 15-20 ड्रोन होते हैं, बट या मतलब शो ऑफ इज इन दैट मूवी ऑल्सो दे शो 5-6 ड्रोन्स आर गोइंग अराउंड इन द गुरुवायूर इज़ वेरी फेमस फॉर कि आपकी शादी अगर गुरुवायूर के सामने होती है तो आपकी कभी डिवोर्स नहीं होगा, फिर आपका मर्डर भी नहीं होगा, वो सब भी you should come there sometime. I'm just joking, Bhavana, don't take it otherwise. Yeah, but Guruvayu is famous for that, right? Yeah, a lot of movie stars from South have gone there to get married. Anyway, coming back, why I'm telling you is that is automation, okay? Automation matlab you are having someone control the drones. I would request you, though they are, I'm no more in Infosys, but that time we used to have a competition called TCS. Go to the site of TCS, they have something very interesting called, a gentleman called Mahesh Rangarajan, a good friend of mine. Mahesh is the CIO for New Zealand and Australia. They have actually developed autonomous drone for stock taking. No human controls the drone. You basically switch it on, 3 hours of flight time, uses all this vision AI, it goes around the place and it will do the thing. वहाँ पे कोई control नहीं कर रहा है. To answer the question of Jitendra जी, हम लोग जब उसमें देते हैं, हम सारे उसके formulas डाल के रखते हैं Excel में simulation. ये जो simulation है, it is actually, I just give the weightage. The decision making happens by the AI based on the factor which is there. क्योंकि हो सकता है एक चीज़ का 3 effect हो जाता है. आपको याद है हमारे compensating error आता था सर? Foundation में पढ़ा था ना सर? Compensating error, एक इधर, it can do it. Now, it is all rule-based, it will work it out. Here, it adjusts it up. It's just a demo, and I'll tell you also the algorithm and the backend. A priori, you can go and check it out, the algorithm. It's a very much open source algorithm. Lot of algorithms are there, you can play with that. That's the thing. I hope you got my point, Jitendra ji. Okay? Okay. Can we move forward? Yes. So, sir, ये तो हो गया एक examples on financial simulations and all the thing. Let's go to the next level. This is much interesting than what we are thinking of. Here we go. Now, I would like to talk about something, Gen AI in finance. ये जो अभी तक आप देख रहे थे, this concept is called, मतलब I'm sure some of you have done the AI course or some of you know about that, you are enthusiastic about all these things. How many of you heard about generative AI is different than regular AI? We call it traditional AI or narrow AI, there is a term for that, and there is generative AI. ये दोनों not the same. They are very different. The way they work is very different. The way they understand are very different. You need to be able to appreciate this part. And here, can you see that people are using in all these use cases? ये आपके लिए बहुत important slide है. I would request you to take a pic if you would like to. You know, आप Google करके देखो कहीं पे भी, you will not get use cases on finance. This is the biggest problem. I don't know why people are not sharing this knowledge. My point is that there are more than 900 use cases how you can use AI and generative AI in finance. People are don't using it. It can be in FP&A from, you know, auto-generating variance commentary, that why this variance is there. I can show it to you also, that the commentary is not generated by a human. The commentary is generated by the machine. And this is basically working and analyzing the data and आपको एक level का check करके देते हैं. I always says, you need to have something called human in the loop. Have you heard this term called human in the loop? What is this human in the loop? Anyone? Perfect. ये आप हमेशा याद रखिएगा, कभी भी we will not go out of the thing. Human in the loop is something which is very important. Finance is the nerve center of any organization. कोई भी organization उसको autonomous में वैसे नहीं डालेगा. Human in the loop, and I always says that. You know, if you see my today's morning example was 1997, our discussion was human versus machine. That is when Garry Kasparov lost to the Deep Blue in chess. And today our discussion is Magnus Carlsen is using AI to train ourselves. Don't you think it is, we have come a long way where machines are being used as our tool of the trade. Ki aap, how good you are with this, how well you know the technology. And I'm just taking a step. How many of you heard a new term which is like MIT has made it very popular called purple people? Anyone wearing purple today? No? No purple. I am color blind, so I don't understand. Huh? So close है नहीं सर, ये purple तो ये pink लग रहा है सर मुझे थोड़ा pink ऐसे सॉरी cheating करते हैं सर ऐसा थोड़ी है थोड़ा दिख जाता है मैम थोड़ा मैं am not 100% color ये purple होगा okay ये okay any one of you had a formal training in drawing? No. Formal training मतलब आप वो दो hill एक sun से ऊपर कुछ बना सकते हो या उतना ही बना सकते हैं फिर नहीं है आपका उतना that is not a formal training मतलब वो फिर आप लोगों का नहीं हुआ. If you go for formal training of drawing, they will tell you that there is something called 3 base color RGB, red, green, blue. From there you can make any color. Prime, oh madam. तो मैम आपका थोड़ा ट्रेनिंग था ठीक है. I appreciate that. Now इनको नहीं था ये लोग. Oh ma'am, so see your kids are teaching you, ma'am. See, you are not teaching. It's other way around. Anyway, now what happens is, there is a kind of a term MIT brought up, very interesting, and I love that concept. I'll tell you. उनका कहना था, color red represent business knowledge, the knowledge of the business. Don't you think, as chartered accountant in this room, we understand business better than sometimes the people who are in operations also? When I was in Goldman Sachs, we used to say that there are in the world maybe maximum 5,000 people who understand derivatives properly, and out of that 5,000, 3,000 are in Goldman Sachs. Because derivatives used to be like, how many of you know derivative accounting kitna tough hota tha CA final mein? Huh? So derivative is a tough subject, but we say used to be like taking pride in that, because as CAs, we understand business better than anyone. Agree? Now, what is the color blue represent? Color blue represent what we call technical knowledge. Have you heard this term? Blue collar jobs bolte the pehle, hai na? Blue collar jobs and all things which are technical. If you mix this two color, red and blue, what is the color you get? Not black. इसलिए आपका क्लास नहीं हुआ मैम. Purple मिलेगा. If you add blue and red, you get purple. That is the color we said. Skill set which we already have is the business. If you merge it with the tech, it works it out. You see all these things in FP&A, audit. There are people who are generating, you just don't go by my words. Royal Bank of Scotland is actually creating audit report from generative AI. I know personally, like how many of you are in audit function here? Anyone? Oh my God, audit functions. You go and check it out. I know most of the people who are in audit function are scared what is happening. We need to know how we can use it. That is going to be the rock star thing. The reason is audit में सबसे ज़्यादा changes आ रहे हैं क्योंकि see you can actually do much more than that. You can bring new insight which people never even thought of that. Treasury, forex exposure. In fact, I had that demo ready, but we don't have time, so I'll not go into the demo. I'll try to see if I get time in the last. They are using auto-analyzing the forex part. Ki, you know, we should do hedging with this bank or this bank. Because have you seen there are multiple banks giving multiple rate and multiple point of time? If anyone has dealt with treasury, I know in Infosys treasury, the people who used to be there, they were actually worth their size in gold. People used to love them because they used to be like the best people in terms of best paid and all things, because treasury is a complex business. And where you can use tech, it will be there. Controllership. I am telling you, I gave an example. I told to you that think of in 2035, you are in a car which is driving yourself and you tell people that, hey, you know what? There used to be time when we used to touch the steering wheel. I am telling you, by before 2035, you will have a situation where these closures and other things which we do are going to be a thing of a past. All this closing entries and all thing, already it is being actually passed by thing, and the making sure that all these things are not going to be any work. Today morning, our topic was data-driven and strategic, and I always want to say, our role would be more strategic. We have to decide where we need to do it up. Not the mundane task of entry, hua, closing, hua, and these things. These are going to become autonomous, whether you like it or not. And when I say whether you like it or not, I have an analogy for that. Would you like to hear that? Okay, let me tell you. And you have to be honest. I am in Delhi, so I am giving a disclaimer beforehand that it should not become an episode of Crime Patrol. एक faculty Bangalore से आया, उसने कुछ बोला और आप लोग बुरा मान के mob lynching हुआ. Ma'am, होता है इधर ही डर लगता है. South, madam knows, Bhavna ma'am, what people in South thinks about North, right? No, I'm basically from, I'm a total national integration, so मेरा mix हो जाता है, मैं बच जाता हूँ. Yeah, my, like, I am born and brought up in Assam. My parents are from Rajasthan and Haryana, so mix of that. So मैं बच जाता हूँ, लेकिन people in North, South we do. But एकदम national integration sir पूरा. Anyway, coming back. Sorry. Okay.
What is happening around?
Around. So हो चुका है ना?
So yeah.
ठीक है. लेकिन उससे ज़्यादा एक दूसरा बताता हूँ मैं आपको. How many of my friends are in practice? उनका कोई एग्जाम्पल दिया है? अरे इतने सारे हैं. इनको भी तो थोड़ा डराना जरूरी है. अरे नहीं, let me explain you. Don't take it otherwise. Let me explain you. Okay. So you're working somewhere? Which company? Sutherland. Yeah, sir. Your good name? So Vivek sir, don't you think your friends will save your number as Vivek Sutherland? हाँ, हमारा हो जाता है कि मतलब जैसे जिस कंपनी में ज़्यादा दिन रहते हैं. I was 9 years in Infosys. Sir, एक बार can you pause it? कैमरा हाँ पॉज कर दो सर. नो कंट्रोवर्सी नहीं चाहिए सर. हाँ रिकॉर्डिंग बंद कर दीजिए एक बार. 1 मिनट. स्लाइड वेयर आई वुड लाइक टू टॉक अबाउट समथिंग कॉल्ड एज हाउ ट्रेडिशनल AI and generative AI is working. Can I show an example for this? Okay, let me show you an example. Okay. Can you give me 1 second for this? Just give me 1 second. This is an example very close to my heart. I want to just show you quickly. Just give me 1 second. I don't know, some reason. Okay, let me show you this. This is actually an example of one of the organizations, how they are doing generative AI and traditional AI together. So have you heard about this rule-based exceptions organization have? That everyone do. But can I analyze this rule-based exceptions for finding out like areas where we see some kind of issues, which is like, imagine the bank account is changed before payment is made, and again it was changed, reinstated. So you see the logs, you see all of the things, and it tries to see who are the people who are passing this entry, which are the users who are doing it, analyze for you, and also write the audit report for you. Now, this part is something which is changing the way. You can see these are all trends. This exceptions is growing. There are kind of, things. So it is actually trying to use the old world and the new world and take that forward. Now, there are multiple examples like this which people are using right now when they try to work on that. But idea which I would like to bring it out here very quickly is that you can take the old one and new one, and both will work better for you. Okay? This slide is the last slide which I would like to talk about, very important. I would say, have you heard about a term called orchestra? Yes or no? Okay. How many of your kids' school have some music lessons in their school? How many of your girls? No? Only one person, two, three, few. Okay, my kids goes to some school, and my son is in class 8, 9. So I went for the PTM, and they wanted to show off, like, that our kids can play music. So they had an auditorium where the music teacher was there. तो उन्होंने, I'll just describe it for you. आप सोचो क्या था? वहाँ पे my son has only learned one thing, happy birthday to you on the guitar. So he was just playing happy birthday to you. There was a boy on a drum, वो भी कुछ बजा रहा था. There was a girl on that synthesizer, that one, and they were playing their own. मतलब उनको बोल दिया गया कि parents आएंगे, उनके सामने show off करना है, तो कुछ ना कुछ बजाते रहो. वो बजा रहे थे. Was it music or noise? It was noise because सब अपना बजा रहे थे, जो भी मन है. Don't you think there is a need to bring all of that things together? I think finance, I don't know if you have heard this, Gartner has actually published that CFOs are going to be the people who will lead AI transformation in organizations. Why they are saying CFOs are going to be the people? Because finance can play the role of orchestrating it. Orchestrating is like bringing all that together. ऐसा नहीं कि हम यहाँ पे कुछ कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पे कुछ कर रहे हैं, and all the thing. We bring it together and try to add value in terms of where is needed. It can be on allocation of where resources has to be done. Data-driven decision-making and performance measurement. Cross-functional. I am seeing one very interesting trend. I don't know how many of you have seen it. We used to have in audit always first line, second line, and third line of defense. You know what they are now talking about? There is nothing called first line, second line. Third line is creating a system. I know for one of the biggest, I would say, watch company in country. What they do is they will create something and then they will give it to the second line to use. So they will just create new insights and everything and give it to them. Same insights are used by most the people. It's all changing. They're all working it up. And there is a long-term vision and sustainable growth, which is nothing but, I always go and meet a lot of people. There are people who will say, Anand, AI is hot now, कुछ करते हैं इसमें. एक तो है वो वाला. एक है, hot इसलिए है कि we have budget, let's do something. And there are second set of people who really have some use cases which is there. I would always love to work with people who are having use cases because every organization is different and you need to orchestrate. There is no one size fit all. If you are trying to see कि यहाँ पे है, यहाँ पे चलेगा, नहीं. I'll give you one example. We made a machine learning model for one pharma company And it was to find out which vendor is the best vendor for which material code. It became a big hit. हम लोग बोला clap clap, audit committee ने भी clap clap किया, अच्छा एकदम we are very happy, एकदम वो होता ना ego एकदम ऊपर चला जाता है, होता है नहीं हुआ? आप लोग सब आर्टिकलशिप में थे? हाँ याद है ना, फर्स्ट ईयर आर्टिकल ऐसा लगता है कि भगवान है हमारे सर, सेकेंड ईयर लगता है कुछ नहीं आता, ठीक ठाक है, थर्ड ईयर में लगता है हम ही चला रहे हैं ऑफिस, बॉस तो ऐसे ही बैठे हैं तो होता है सर, मेरे साथ भी हुआ है तो मेरा भी वो थर्ड ईयर आर्टिकल वाला ईगो चला गया कि अरे देखो हमने रॉक स्टार कर दिया, सीए हैं, मशीन लर्निंग में क्या मॉडल बनाया है, यू नो दे आर ऑल वेरी हैप्पी, वी हैव डन समथिंग ग्रेट. वी टुक द सेम मॉडल टू अनदर कंपनी विच इज़ इनटू केमिकल्स. वी सेड केमिकल फार्मा मोर और लेस सेम चलेगा, ये मॉडल यहाँ पे चलाते हैं, चलाए. Accuracy was only 60%. In a machine learning model, you should have accuracy of at least 80% and above. Accuracy was only 50%. Then when we did a root cause analysis, we understood the problem. The problem, you know, what was the thing? The first company which was there, they used to work on a concept of L1. जो भी vendor को वो select कर रहे थे, वो L1 vendor रहेगा. Whoever is the lowest quote. The second company we went, they don't have the policy of L1. They work on a policy of, you know, what is that? No, they work on a policy of SOB, share of business. They will give share of business to multiple vendor. वहाँ पे मेरा model चला ही नहीं, because I don't, that is the reason I'm telling again and again. Knowledge of the business is the key function which we need to understand and take it forward. And that's called for the action. If you are in finance, you're a leader in finance, or you want to be a leader in finance, start doing some of these things. First, start small. A lot of people try to do big bang, not going to work. It is a bottom-up approach, not a top-down approach. If you are thinking it is a bottom, you know, top-down approach, you will be actually having a lot of problem. I hear a lot of time, board will say, oh, every company is doing AI, we are not doing it. But that will not happen. आपको पहले start करना पड़ेगा, समझना पड़ेगा. You have to get your hands dirty. If you are going to do 10 projects, be ready, 3 will fail. If they are not failing, you are not trying enough. Failing is good. Build internal AI readiness. You have to. Personally, guys, if you ask me why I'm so gung-ho about this, I hope you are hearing about the shortage of accountant globally. Yes. GCCs are coming because of that, one of the key reasons. Don't you think it is our way of getting a strategic, what I call it as, you know, moat for ourselves, that, you know, these guys do something which is much different than the way we were doing it. And this is the last time, I'm honestly telling you, we are on a kind of a race with another country called China. Either they are going to be the winner or we are going to be the winner. One of the country is going to be the winner. The one which has more human resource trained with people, they will have a better kind of chance. And have a lead, a cross-functional way of dealing with that. And this slide talks more about what is the AI finance relationship. AI finance relationships are multiple. You can use AI in your organization as automator. You can use it as a decider. You can use it as recommender. You can use as illuminator, and you can also use it as evaluator. You need to think of what role you want AI to play in your organization. And this is something where organizations are trying to look like. They are working with that. And more importantly, which I would like to share with you, is this is the time for the purple people to rise. Time has come for them. Because if you are a purple people, you are a person with both of kind of skill set, you are going to be the most sought after person in the industry in time to come. And GCCs are actually leading it because they are very futile ground for doing it. They are actually changing. I'm sorry, you can't see the font, right? Okay, let me put it up. The font is black. This slide took me a lot of time, but I thought it will look good here. It didn't do. Before we were data translator, checklist mindset, Excel jockeys, report writer, and surprise checkers. We will be moving towards more of someone who will say, ये model क्यों use किया, ये model क्यों use नहीं किया. Who will be actually challenging the models which you are using for deciding, finding out the controls, checking out the algorithms, setting up the narratives, key, this is the narrative what is coming up, and doing what we call it as future scenario simulator. Okay? So this is something, friends, which I want to just share with you. I think this is the time which we all need to actually try, understand, analyze, and take this forward. It's high time we try to check this. You know, my point is that that's what I'm sharing here is just the tip of the iceberg. Is so much of can be done. Sir. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Mic, or you can just loudly say that. Yeah. Sorry? Huh? Okay. So my thought process, which is very clear on that, I would say, see, we started actually using AI something around 2015-16, most of the people, yeah? That was a traditional AI. It has been now accelerated after November 2022 when ChatGPT or generative AI became mainstream. What I see is the kind of money being poured into this one right now. I see a lot of change, and I will tell you one thing, the biggest problem right now, as per me, we have not even reached 1% of the use cases. This is the biggest problem. People, with all due respect, I'm sorry to say that, we don't know how to use it. हमारे पास एक बहुत powerful solution है, हमें पता ही नहीं है कि use कैसे करना है, बढ़िया है, जैसे हमारी मैडम गई XUV 700, चली गई, अब I can tell her name. So XUV 700 है, but ADAS use ही नहीं किया, क्या फायदा? As simple as that. I hope you got my point. Any other questions? Sir.
So we discussed two aspects earlier today. One was human in the loop, and another one was reliability, as just Sir had touched upon that.
Yes, sir.
So I happen to have attended a conference on AI use cases in finance, particularly our CA field, wherein it was into taxation. So we were told, we were given illustrations wherein there was also ethical use also. We just hit the client name. We put that notice into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It framed a reply. Then we asked it, please give us a more detailed reply. It framed a 6-page, 7-page submission also.
और hallucinate भी किया होगा.
Hallucinate भी किया. Then we were also told, as you rightly said, to have a human in the loop to read it, because we were warned that in one of the cases, it quoted a case law which went against the SSE, and he lost the case. So,
Sir, ये तो फिर भी ठीक है. You know, Bangalore ITET में fake केस लॉस डाल दिया उन्होंने. अब ITET का ऑर्डर है, ऑफिशियल ऑर्डर, सोचिए.
So there was a human, I mean, with the human in the loop, one can read that and see what has to be done. But in case of finance, there's a limitation because there's no case law or something, it's all
numbers.
Algorithm. So how do we
Sir, that's where I'll tell you. Now, I have one question. I'll give you a basic example, sir. You've heard about EOQ, Economic Order Quantity? हम सबने पढ़ा है इसको? पढ़ा नहीं पढ़ा? We know the formula also. Now, if you suddenly see that there has been a huge order for 50,000 drums of some oil instead of 50,000 liters, as a human in the loop, don't you think brain will figure it out कि 50,000 tons मतलब drums तो चाहिए ही नहीं. It's a mistake of unit of measurement. UOM को हम बोलते हैं उसको. This kind of issues also come. Human in the loop, I'm again telling you. What sir asked me a question was a very good point. What do I see? My futuristic view, which I can see like maybe 3 to 5 years, you will see more advanced AI, but every time anything comes up, there is a kind of a, there is a kind of a requirement which is going to be there that you require to have someone review all of the things and take that forward. You will never come out of the human in the loop part. I am actually telling you. The reason is, till मेरा estimation है 2040. और 2035 में तो खत्म ही हो जाएगी, तो हमें फ़र्क क्या पड़ता है, चलेगा. तो I am very happy of that one. But 2040 is we are talking about having a self-aware AI. तब तक we are, and then also it will be working. आप ये सोचिए, don't think of human versus machine. Machine does all the rudimentary work and all the thing, and we try to do. That will be the way which can see that. Okay, I think we have time up. I'll be here. If you have any questions, more than happy to take it outside, sir. वो देखो चिट दे दिया सर कि बस बहुत हो गया. ठीक है, अब और कहाँ से? मैं तो बक करने के लिए ready हूँ, no problem. So thank you very much, and I'm extremely sorry for being late. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I request all of you, please don't go anywhere. We have a last session with, after that, we have with us CA Kunal Kumar. So I request all of you, please be seated. Next session is going to be terrific like this session basically. So next session is also very good session. So don't go anywhere. And there is rain outside also. You cannot go. So please be seated. Thank you.
I would like to thanks to CA Anand Prakash Jangir sir for their wonderful and insightful presentation. I request with the CA Sangam Kumar Agarwal, he is the RCM of ICI, to present our life plant of CA Anand Prakash Jangir sir. Now move further for the next speaker are with us. CA Kunal Kapoor, and his topic is integrated solutions for accounting and beyond. I request with CA Sangam Kumar Agarwal ji, RCM of ICI, to present the life plant to CA Kunal Kapoor sir. Kunal Kumar बोला तो कुमार ही तो है कुमार ही बोला कुणाल कुमार बोला Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, I request with Sangam sir to present the memento to CA Kunal Kumar sir. And I request with Sangam sir to give the opening remarks and enlighten the audience. Thank you.
Very good afternoon to all of you friends. Before starting our next session, I want to express my sincere thanks to Anand Prakash sir, because firstly AI, then GCC, and mix of both. It's I think a terrific session. He has handled session very beautifully, so that we all understand how the role of GCC, how the role of AI in GCC especially. So I think it is very terrific session there. And now we have next session with us of CA Kunal Kumar basically, and he's an eminent speaker, and he will come and speak on the topic of integrated solution for accounting and beyond. Because friends, we all know that GCC is basically working mainly and in accounting as well. So it is a very good topic to deliberate here. I request all of you, please come and sit down, because another half an hour, we all will enjoy this topic. Kunal is young and dynamic like me to discuss this topic in detail. So, Dipesh ji, please come and sit. Dipesh sir, please. So, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to this enlightening session, Integrated Solution for Accounting and Beyond. As an accounting profession, in today's dynamic business environment, the need for holistic, tech-driven and scalable solution has never been more pressing. We are fortunate to have with us today CA Kunal Kumar, an eminent speaker and thought leader in the space of financial transformation and digital enablement. With a deep understanding of both traditional accounting principle and modern technology trends, he brings a unique perspective on how professionals can adopt and thrive. Today's discussion goes beyond the book. It's about understanding how integrated solution from ERP platform and cloud accounting to automation, analytics and compliance tool are redefining how business manage finance, risk, reporting and decision making. For us, a chartered accountant embrace the integration is not about just about staying relevant. It's about leading a change. We must be equipped not only to provide financial clarity, but also to drive strategic insight, ensure regulatory alignment, and support sustainable growth. This session is an opportunity to explore the coverage of accounting with technology, operations, and strategy, and how we can reimagine our role in this new ecosystem. With that, I extend a warm welcome to Kunal Kumar and look forward for a highly engaging and insightful session. I will request Kunal ji, please come forward, and request all of you, please have a big round of applause for Kunal ji for this next session. I welcome Kunal ji and all the participants for this session. Please, sir, over to you, sir. Team, yeah, please. Team will help, please. Mic connect kar do, mic connect karo.
Yes, good evening, everyone. So I think a lot of people have left. It's already too late, and you are here since I think you are very much serious about this GCC, and that is the reason you are sitting here. So my topic for today is integrated solution for accounting and beyond, from ledgers to leadership. So first of all, I would like to just give my quick journey, like my journey into CA practice and how I discovered the real struggle of business owners. And then we'll be talking about the integrated solutions available for us and how we can implement in our practice and how this can help us in getting clients from US and other countries. So when I started my CA practice, I was eager to help business owners streamline their finances. I met hundreds of entrepreneurs, listened to their challenges, and soon I realized financial mismanagement was the silent killer of a growth. Like people, a lot of business owners are there, their main pain point are like no financial visibility. They are running business, but they can't see their real time finances and books. They have some lags, or like if I'm talking about lot of MSME business owners, they don't have real time financial visibility. They are dependent on accountant, chartered accountant every time. So I have also seen they feel like business owners feel like they have surprise tax payment and penalties. They don't know what advance tax they need to pay. Like उनको पता ही नहीं होता था, उन्हें सरप्राइजली हम सीए कॉल करते थे कि आज आपको इतना टैक्स पे करना है या ये आपके ऊपर पेनल्टीज आ गई है. ये कुछ मतलब this I have seen with lot of business owners. ये कई सारे business owners की common problem I have seen. I have seen scattered and disconnected system. What do you mean by scattered and disconnected system? Like HR department अपना अलग काम कर रहा है, finance department अपना अलग काम कर रहा है, उनकी अपनी अलग Excel फाइल है, HR की payroll की अपनी अलग Excel फाइल है, फिर sales वाले अलग एक उनका system है, उनका एक अलग Excel फाइल है, सब कुछ एक scattered है और वो आपस में connected नहीं है. Like this problem I have felt कि ये problem बहुत ज़्यादा है. Then I felt like उन department के बीच में आपस में collaboration नहीं है, like no collaboration between team. So this I am talking about lot of MSME business owners, like they don't have collaboration between teams. हर बार sales से अलग पता करना पड़ता है कि क्या हुआ, कितने leads हैं आज की हमारे पास, customers के पास क्या हमारा books के अंदर है, HR के अंदर क्या है, सब कुछ आपस में connected नहीं है. There are lot of manual and unintegrated reimburse process. Here I would like to say कि कंपनीज के अंदर लॉट ऑफ ट्रेवल एक्सपेंसेस हो रहे हैं या पेरोल मैनेजमेंट हो रहा है, वो सब अलग एक एक्सेल फाइल पर चल रहा है. मतलब कोई एक प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं है, एक एक्सेल पर हम सारा काम चला रहे हैं, या गूगल शीट्स हो गया या एक्सेल फाइल हो गया, उस पर सब कुछ हम कर रहे हैं. दैट इज अगेन मैनुअल एंड अनइंटीग्रेटेड एक्सपेंस रिम्बर्समेंट प्रोसेस. And lack of integration between business system, no automation for a critical business process. ये main point है, pain point है कि भाई हमें अगर invoices, अगर as a chartered accountant also we are raising an invoice, clients are not paying us. मैं अपने कलीग से बात करता हूँ कि लास्ट ईयर की ऑडिट फीस अगले साल आ रही है या उससे अगली फीस उससे अगले साल आ रही है. कई बार हमें ऐसा जोक लगता है, बट समटाइम आई फील लाइक कि ऐसा क्यों है, जबकि लाइक इन अदर प्रोफेशन, डॉक्टर के प्रोफेशन में हम देखते हैं कि वी गो एंड doctor charge in advance and then we take a service, but it's not like that in our service. Even invoice raise करने के बाद भी we send manual reminders, manually हम reminders भेज रहे हैं, फिर उसको download कर रहे हैं. So this is really hampering our work. No automation for critical business process. So now I am running quick this accounting system score. If you have notepad and pen, तो मैं चाहूँगा कि हम एक ये evaluation करें कि हमारा accounting system कितना automate है. I would like to run one system score. So please take out your notepad and pen, or maybe अगर notepad pen नहीं है, so you can just take your digital notes in your phone. So I would like to run quick accounting system score. So you can give your score 0, 5 और 10. आप देखिए कि कहाँ पर आपका स्कोर आता है, 0 आता है, 5 आता है, 10 आता है, then we will हम उसका टोटल करेंगे and we will evaluate कि हमारा अकाउंटिंग सिस्टम कैसा है, कितना ऑटोमेट है, right? So I hope you are ready with your notepad and pen, or maybe you are taking digital notes. So how do you manage your current bookkeeping और data entry? अभी आप अपनी bookkeeping और data entry कैसे manage करते हैं? अगर वो अभी तक complete Excel पर या manually है, या आपके client का किसी Excel पर है या manually है, तो give 0 points. अगर कुछ automation है, some automation, but still lot of manual work is there, give 5 points. If you are fully automated with cloud-based software, अगर आपने cloud-based solution लगा रखा है अपने accounting के अंदर, bookkeeping के अंदर, so you can give 10 marks or 10 score to yourself. All right, so I'll be taking 10 questions and then you will evaluate कि हमें कितना gap है. अगर अच्छा score आता है तो it means हम सही track पर जा रहे हैं और सही सब कुछ सही कर रहे हैं. So my next question from you, can I move to next question? So my next question, how do you reconcile your bank transactions? क्या बैंक रिकन्सिलेशन जो भी होता है, बैंक ट्रांजेक्शन्स होती है, हाउ डू यू मैनेज दैट? अगर वो सब कुछ मैनुअली है, यू मैनुअली चेक बैंक स्टेटमेंट एंड एंटर डेटा इन 2025, देन यू कैन गिव 0 points. And if you do occasionally through accounting software for reconciliation, then 5 points. लेकिन अगर आपकी बैंक इंटीग्रेटेड है, your bank account is integrated with your accounting software, then you can give 10 points. Yes? So if your bank account is integrated, अगर आपका बैंक अकाउंट इंटीग्रेट है आपके अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर के साथ and automatically bank feeds are coming there, then you can give 10 points. So can I move to next question? So now my next question is, how do you track and file your GST return? So if you manually prepare and upload GST return on GST portal, you can give 0 points. And if your accountant handle but you review reports manually, you can give 5 points. But if your accounting software is integrated with your GST portal, you push data from here and that data automatically go into GST portal. तो आप you can say you have 10 points into that. So अभी आप उसमें अगर आपका GST portal और आपका accounting system integrated है, then you can give 10 points. So can I move to my fourth question? Yes. आपको अगर ऐसा लग रहा है कि ये टेस्ट जैसा चल रहा है, so it's like we are evaluating where we are standing and how much further we need to work on this. So next point is, how do you manage your invoice and payment tracking? अगर आप manually आज भी invoice create करते हैं Excel पर, Word पर, Canva पर और किसी और platform पर, then and do follow-ups manually follow-ups, उसको download किया, उसको फिर manually mail करा. If you do that, then give 0 points. If you use इन्वॉइसिंग टूल बट फॉलोअप फिर भी मैनुअली करना पड़ता है हमें, हमारे पास कोई स्टाफ है, वो स्टाफ कॉल करता है क्लाइंट्स को कि भाई हमारा इन्वॉइस ड्यू हो गया, पेमेंट कर दो, मैसेज भेजना पड़ता है व्हाट्सएप पर. इफ यू यूज इन्वॉइसिंग टूल बट स्टिल फॉलो अप मैनुअली, यू कैन गिव 5 points. बट इफ यू हैव fully automated your invoicing with payment reminders and payment link, कि अपने आप ही इन्वॉइस चला जाता है, 3 दिन बाद अपने आप ही पहला रिमाइंडर चला जाता है, 7 दिन बाद दूसरा रिमाइंडर चला जाता है, पेमेंट नहीं आती, 15 दिन बाद तीसरा रिमाइंडर चला जाता है, क्योंकि हम इन ऑपरेशन से जब तक निकलेंगे नहीं, वी कांट ग्रो आवर प्रैक्टिस, वी कांट फोकस ऑन आवर बिजनेस. सो गिव 10 points if you're fully automated invoicing with reminders and payment link. Can I move to my next question? How do you handle your expense tracking and approval? हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर डे टू डे लॉट ऑफ एक्सपेंसेस होते हैं, कई सारे खर्चे होते हैं, एंड हाउ डू यू हैंडल ऑल दोज एक्सपेंसेस और अप्रूवल सिस्टम? अगर वो सब कुछ एक्सेल पर होता है, वी रिकॉर्ड ऑल दोज एक्सपेंसेस इन एक्सेल फाइल एंड वी डोंट ट्रैक, देन यू कैन गिव 0 points. And 5 points if some expenses are recorded digitally but approval are manual. जो भी approval system है वो सब कुछ manual है, then give 5 points. But if you can give 10 points if automatically expense categorization is there and approval workflow is in place, then you can give 10 points. Yes? So अगर आप like what you do, you just import your bank statement into your accounting software. जो भी आप accounting software use करते हैं उसके अंदर हमने bank statement import किया और जो आपका अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर है वो ऑटोमेटिकली रीड कर लेता है ट्रांजैक्शंस को, और ट्रांजैक्शंस को रीड करने के बाद अपने आप उनको कैटेगराइज कर देता है कि ये ट्रैवल का खर्चा है, ये हमारा फूड एक्सपेंस है, मील एक्सपेंस है. तो अगर वो ऐसा कर देता है ऑटोमेटिकली एक्सपेंस का कैटेगराइजेशन और अप्रूवल, देन यू कैन गिव 10 पॉइंट्स. My next question, how do you generate your financial report like P&L, balance sheet and cash flow? You can give 0 points if reports are created manually and only at year end. हम real time पर P&L balance sheet नहीं बनाते, हम बस साल के end में हम balance sheet P&L बनाते हैं, तो then you can give 0 points. And if you use software but still you need to do manual adjustment, you can give 5 points. And instant access to real time reports with insights, अगर आपको आज ही अभी किसी client का balance sheet P&L चाहिए, so you just click on that balance sheet P&L and you get instant access to that real time report with insights, then you can give 10 points. I hope you all are enjoying this evaluation so that we can know कि हमें किस direction में आगे move करना है. All right. So now my next question is, how do you manage your payroll processing compliances? I talk with lot of business owners. I still see in India a lot of payroll and everything regarding to MSME business owners. They still do on Excel file. They don't have proper process to generate form 16 and everything. So give 0 points if you manually calculate salary, PF, ESI and file returns, and give 5 points if you use some payroll software. And but still you have to do some manual work, you can give 5 points, and 10 points if you are fully automated payroll system with tax and compliances integration. अगर आपका accounting system आप proper payroll software use करते हैं, वहाँ से employees अपनी visibility देख सकता है, they can generate their salary slip, अब employee अपनी salary slip निकाल सकता है, proper visibility रहती है, fully automated रहता है, और वो जो entries हमारी salary की है वो हमारे accounting software में automatic आ जाती हैं, तो then you can give 10 points. I hope you all are taking notes of this. And 2 more questions left. How do you manage approval and workflow for accounting? 0 points, everything done manually with email and paper approval. 5 points, some workflow exists but require manual oversight. अगर जो जितना भी approval system है, that is fully automated with approval for transaction, then you can give 10 points. Now we have 2 more questions left. Yes, can I move to next slide? How do you integrate your accounting with sales and operation? क्या आपका, क्योंकि I have seen we use accounting software, वो हमारा accounting software हमारी sales और operation के साथ integrate नहीं है, वो अलग बात कर रहा है. So if your accounting system is integrated with your sales department and with your operation department, if there is no integration, give 0 points. No integration, everything works separately. 5 points if some integration but still data entry is required. 10 points if seamless integration with CRM system, inventory system, billing system, सब कुछ आपस में integrated है और communicate करता है, then you can give 10 points. So my last question, how scalable is your accounting system as your business grow? जैसे जैसे आपका business grow करेगा तो जो आप accounting system use कर रहे हैं, so whether that accounting system is struggling with current volume or error, अगर आप करंटली वो एरर हो रहे हैं उसमें बहुत सारे और वो ऑलरेडी उसमें बहुत सारा वॉल्यूम वो नहीं देख पा रहा, तो यू कैन गिव 0 पॉइंट्स. इफ यू कैन हैंडल सम ग्रोथ बट स्केलिंग इज अ कंसर्न, देन 5 पॉइंट्स. द करंट अकाउंटिंग सिस्टम विच यू आर यूजिंग, इफ इट इज कंप्लीटली स्केलेबल, फ्लेक्सिबल एंड फ्यूचर रेडी विद ऑटोमेशन, देन यू कैन गिव 10 पॉइंट्स. So I hope you all have calculated your score. आप उस सबका टोटल करें, and I hope you have calculated your score. So are you ready for your result कि क्या रिजल्ट आता है? Yes, आप सबने अपना स्कोर का टोटल कर लिया? Yes. So now I am moving to next slide, जो कि हमारा स्कोर बोर्ड है, हमारा सेल्फ इवैल्यूएशन है, that will help us. So अगर हमारा स्कोर 0 से 40 है तो हम अभी भी मैनुअल और इनएफिशिएंट तरीके से काम कर रहे हैं, हमें बहुत ज़्यादा अभी काम करने की ज़रूरत है. इसका मतलब अगर 41 से 70 हमारा स्कोर आ रहा है तो इट मीन्स वी हैव पार्शियली ऑटोमेटेड थिंग्स बट स्टिल देयर इज अ स्कोप ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट. बट अगर हमारा स्कोर 70 से 100 आ रहा है तो इसका मतलब वी आर गुड, वी आर एट इन राइट ट्रैक, आवर सिस्टम इज फुली ऑटोमेटेड और स्केलेबल. सो आई वुड लाइक टू नो कि कितने लोगों का स्कोर यहाँ पर 70 से ऊपर आ रहा है. ओके, दैट्स ग्रेट, दैट्स गुड. एंड कितने लोगों का स्कोर 40 to 70 आ रहा है? बहुत सारे लोगों का है. एंड कितने लोगों का स्कोर आई नो 40 से कम आ रहा है? यस. तो इसका मतलब लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर देयर जिनका 40 to 70 के बीच में है. हमने कुछ चीज़ें पार्शियली ऑटोमेट कर ली है बट स्टिल लॉट ऑफ चीज़ें हैं, बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं जिन्हें हम इंटीग्रेट करके हम स्कोर को और बढ़ा सकते हैं. And definitely when we talk about GCC, we talk about US client and other things, तो वहाँ पर ये सब चीज़ें हमसे 10 साल आगे चल रही हैं. लाइक हम जहाँ पर जिस स्टेज पर खड़े हैं, अगर हम वहाँ पर यूएस को कंपेयर करते हैं या डेवलप्ड नेशन को कंपेयर करते हैं, वहाँ पर हम ये सारी चीज़ें ऑटोमेट हो चुकी हैं. एंड हाउ वी शुड, हम उनको कैसे उस लेवल पर पहुँचे, दैट इज़ द थिंग. एंड डेफिनेटली वी कैन डू दिस, दैट इज़ पॉसिबल. So how many of you have realized that you have never took accounting automation as seriously as you should to scale your accounting efficiency? And how many of you are here would like to make your accounting automation your priority in order to scale your business, save time and make informed financial decision? So now आफ्टर सीइंग ये जो चैलेंजेस है ये हमारे साथ नहीं है. जब हम चार्टेड अकाउंटेंट हैं, हम सीए हैं, हमारा स्कोर 40 to 70 आ रहा है, तो आप समझ सकते हो कि जो रियल बिजनेस ओनर है, जिसको तो फाइनेंस के बारे में इतना पता भी नहीं है, मतलब जब हम 40 to 70 तो ऑब्वियसली वो 40 से नीचे ही आ रहा होगा, और हम उन्हें हेल्प कर सकते हैं टू ऑटोमेशन, फॉर इंटीग्रेशन, फॉर ऑल दोज थिंग्स. So after seeing these challenges and repeated across different businesses, I knew there had to be a better way, and that's why I discovered about the Zoho. I know आपको काफियों को Zoho के बारे में पता होगा. So there I discovered about the Zoho, a system that could automate accounting and bring team into single platform and give business owner financial control in real time. So थ्रू Zoho I have solved this problem. मैंने Zoho के थ्रू काफ़ी सारी प्रॉब्लम अपने बिजनेस ओनर की सॉल्व करी. सो उनके जो मैंने क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करी Zoho के या Zoho के इकोसिस्टम से, आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर दैट हियर. सो एलिमिनेट अकाउंटेंट डिपेंडेंसी. अकाउंटेंट के ऊपर डिपेंडेंसी बहुत कम हो गई व्हेन आई इंप्लीमेंटेड Zoho, बिकॉज बिजनेस ओनर कैन फेच P&L बैलेंस शीट बाय जस्ट वन क्लिक. इट्स नॉट रिक्वायर्ड कि कोई आपको टेक्निकल नॉलेज चाहिए या ऐसा चाहिए. I have integrated Zoho CRM with Zoho Accounting. मैंने Zoho integrate करा CRM के साथ और accounting के साथ. I have automated expense reimbursement, जो travel expense हुआ करते थे. I have automated all those expense reimbursement through proper approval system. I have linked company's payroll with accounting. मैंने company का payroll उनके accounting के साथ integrate कर दिया. पहले वो अलग अलग Excel फाइल बनाते थे और सब कुछ अलग अलग करते थे. Then what I did, I just integrated payroll with accounting. I automated customer payment reminder. I implemented transaction approval workflow. I enabled automatic alert and notification. जब मैंने ये सब चीजें किया तो उस बिजनेस की एफिशिएंसी एटलीस्ट 50 to 60% और बढ़ गई. Like 50 to 60% उस बिजनेस की एफिशिएंसी और बढ़ गई. So that changed for me and for my clients. So I'll just give a quick introduction of Zoho also. I hope आप सबको पता होगा कि Zoho का ICI के साथ साइन है, MOU साइन है, and for all chartered accountants, Zoho is completely free. एंड हम उस MOU को यूज़ करके हम सारे जो भी Zoho के प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं, फाइनेंस प्लेटफॉर्म है, उन्हें हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं. सो इट्स अ Zoho फाइनेंस प्लेटफॉर्म ऑफर्स एवरीथिंग यू नीड टू मैनेज Zoho बुक्स, Zoho इन्वेंट्री, Zoho पेरोल, Zoho एक्सपेंस, Zoho कॉमर्स, Zoho बिलिंग. So you can automate each and everything. And yes, so that is all about my story, which I am here to tell you about. Now, if you want to connect with me, you can just take a scanner and just scan this code. If you want to discuss about how you can automate everything for your client, आप अपने clients के साथ कैसे automate कर सकते हैं इन सब चीज़ों को, so we can discuss that outside. And if you have any question, I am open for that. Thank you. So any questions? Okay. All right, that's great. Yes. Yes, you can do that. You can take photograph, and proper third-party app are also available. Once you click that, automatically bank whatever expense bill is there, that can be recorded in Zoho books. Any other question? So that's all for today. Thank you very much for staying here and listening me carefully till this last time. And मेरा last session था, मैं expect नहीं कर रहा था कि इतने लोग भी होंगे. But thank you very much for giving your time. Thank you.